Hey, you two, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks on It. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We got some things to talk about. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Please hit the like button as you come on in. We're talking all things Kim Porter, Sean Puffy Combs, aka Diddy, P. Diddy, child. He got a whole bunch of names, but it don't matter because all of the names, everybody getting it, no matter all the aliases. Come on in. Come on in. I want to talk about some things. I want to really focus on Kim Porter. So come on in. Even today, there's been some new things that's been unfolding pertaining to this story with new lawsuits, child. So I already had my show scheduled for what I was going to talk about for tonight pertaining to P. Diddy. I was going to more so focus on Kim Porter, but do you all see the press conference today that the famous attorney Gloria Allred did today? Did you all see that? I saw that. Hey, PM, did you see the press conference? Because I can show that because I'm like, I may, be able to get into that in this live as well. Because I guess, it just, I don't know, child. We're going to talk about it because we want to see if we find some similarities between just the stories that different women in his life that P. Diddy has encountered, the allegations and things that they've made. I mean, we want to see if there are some themes that we see here and just try to make it make sense, child, because that's what we do as Honest and It's Right. We put two and two together and we try to make it make sense because we ain't here for somebody to just be damn telling us any damn thing. It got to make sense. It got to make sense. So together we come together to try to make sense of all of this. It's a lot. There's a book out, Kim's Lost Words. Child, that's a whole nother. It's a lot, y'all. It is a lot. So get ready. We got a lot to talk about. And please be engaged. Make sure that you hit the like button. Please hit the like button as you come on in. Y'all, I got some questions. Y'all know when she got some damn questions. Who knows how long the live can be? Because y'all know when I got questions, I don't like sitting in just confusion. I do not like sitting in confusion. So we come together and we talk about some things as we try to make it make sense. So tonight is going to be no different. We are trying to make some sense of just a lot of things that are coming out. What they say was done in the dark will come out in the day. And it's a lot that I'm coming to see that was taking place in the dark. So there's a lot that's coming out during the day. Starting with this damn press conference, because it was bright as hell, I'm sure, out there when they did that press conference. Listen, Gloria said, my client said, yes, he did it. Yes, it sure was him. It was. So we're going to talk about it, y'all. Come on in. And just good evening, Chic and everyone. Hey, Angela, how you doing, Angela Antonio? How are you? PM, that's all right. We're going to show it. I saw it earlier before I kind of rested up for this live tonight. I made sure that I got through that. But we'll play it. It's a lot. It's very deep, very sad, very disheartening. It's a lot. So it's like you got that, then you got this book out and people are saying, oh, well, now, the book, it's not real, it's fake. And it's just like, let me know in the comments if you all have seen or read the book, if you have the book, if you heard anyone speak on the book. Divine, hello, welcome. He says, I saw bits and pieces of it. Okay, that's all right. We're going to show it because y'all just get ready. It's just, I personally happen to be someone who believes that man is exactly where he needs to be. He should have been there for a long time ago. Remember when I did my first live on him on this new channel? When was that? Was that maybe last week? I'm like, child, why the hell he's still out? Why are we still talking about him? Why are we still talking about him? Because it's so much stuff that's been coming out on him to where I was just, some of you had the same sentiments. It's just like, why are we still talking about him? Like, he's been doing the absolute most for years. Cassie came out last year with her lawsuit, had a lot of details, followed by the producer guy, the young guy, producer guy that came out and was like, basically, Cassie ain't lying, because I had my little experience with him too that's unfavorable, and I'm a man, so he doing the most with women and men. So it's just like, and both up, there was just receipts flying, child, just receipts flying everywhere. But this man was still Diddy bopping still all across the globe on his private jet. So you know what? I had got to a point, y'all. I was just like, I don't want to hear nothing else. Unless the headline reads he locked up, because I'm tired of this. We throwing out all this stuff that he's guilty of, even showing receipts, pictures. Y'all, I've seen photos. That producer guy, y'all can drop it in my chat if y'all know who I'm talking about. I think it was earlier this year, around February or something like that. He had all kinds of receipts that were pictures and things, and this fool was still running around. So it's just like, what more do you need to get somebody, this perpetrator, off the streets? You saying Keefy D? No, little something. Y'all know that little man. I thought it was little. I thought he got a little something in it, y'all. Yeah, Lil Rod. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Thank you, PM. The last time I did a lot, what the hell his name is? I might have called him something else. That's it, Lil Rod. Lil Rod said, because he was off, he was like, Diddy likes to record everything. And hell, that's what Kim says. Like, he likes to record everything. So if he on some other type of stuff, you best believe there's some footage of it, because he just likes to record. And that's the craziest thing. Y'all, isn't that what got R. Kelly caught up when he peed on a little girl like years ago, come from recording stuff? Isn't it crazy how you got these perpetrators out here that like to put they wrong for doing their acts on camera? They put it on camera. It's like that they get off on just recording it and I guess going back and watching it. So my thing is like, there are so many receipts out there. It was just about time that he got removed from our streets. And he finally did. The latest I heard was that, child, he in jail. I guess he at Rikers or somewhere. And he holding off on eating. He like, well, shit, I ain't gonna eat this. Okay, your ass gonna damn starve then. He like, listen, I ain't eating this food or whatever at Rikers. Oh, okay. Well, then we gonna see how long that go. Because I think he maybe just arrived to Rikers, because that's probably like the closest prison or federal prison or whatever. And I think R. Kelly was there too. But they saying he not eating. So I don't know if he calling this stuff like trying to, child, I don't know what he doing. We don't give a shit if you eating or not. So I don't know if he trying to starve himself to death so he can goddamn croak and die. I don't know. Most of us probably don't damn care. We care to the point of we don't want him to, just stop breathing, because, child, we need for you to be held accountable for this foolishness that you've been doing. Like, we need you to talk about it. We need for you to get some insight as to what the fuck you was doing, who was doing it with you, the why. Like, we got a lot of questions. So with that being said, yes, we do need this goddamn ass here. I guess, listen, okay, please eat, sir, because we need you to be talking. So, but yeah, so he's been doing a lot of extra stuff. He's doing a lot of extra stuff. So yes, today there was a new lawsuit that came about. Y'all know how I'm gonna do. We'll do a field trip. We'll take a trip over to the YouTube and we're gonna check out this press conference. Can you all hit the like button for me, child? This thing say, I think 1 like. We got 17 people in the building. I welcome each and every one of you. Welcome today. Hey, Raining. Hello. Raining said, hey, to everybody. She put everybody's name in there. Welcome. Yes, PM, just disgusting to say the least. PM says he's in federal prison in Brooklyn. Where the hell he need to be? Hey, Aqua. She said, hey, she can chat. I am listening. Okay, listen. Devon says, hello. Andrea says, Cat Williams, Jaguar White, and her ex-bodyguard also been saying he video everything. Okay, well, yeah, that's what we need. I think I'll Be Sure came out talking, saying that yes, he, they're, so apparently, I guess in this book, child, we're gonna get in this book. It's a short read. It's like 60 pages, 59, 60 pages, really short, but I'm gonna get into this book and let y'all know some things that are being said in this book. But I'll be sure it was just like, yes, one thing's for certain when, when Kim talked about having videotapes and things like that, that is true. She did have videotapes of his indiscretions because, child, he couldn't help his damn self. He always was trying to put things on videotape. So he said the authorities have, I think, her laptop, I guess her electronic devices and things like that she had, that his goddamn ass had in his custody. So, child, all of that, he's like, the authorities have it. And I'm not even surprised by that, because I felt like when that press conference took place last week, the way that little man was up there talking so matter of fact, it was like he wasn't speaking from no allegations, no alleged. I don't even think that man even used the word alleged. He was talking like, yes, this is what the fuck we came to. This is what we uncovered. This is why his ass is in custody. This is why he ain't out on bail. Like, this man was so matter of fact, to where I'm like, damn, like, he said everything this man had done. But the one thing, y'all, I peeped that he didn't say anything about was anything pertaining to underage children, because, y'all, there's so many stories and things that's going around about this man Diddy, like, it's just been a predator, like all kinds of stories where it's him just having doing inappropriate acts with both men, women, and children. So the thing I did peep during that press conference is that there was no allegation, no charges that involved minors. And I kind of scratched my head on that, just because earlier this year around that time, I think it might have came out in the Little Rod documents, but it was talks of a young girl who at the time was 16 years old, who was trafficked. They picked her up in one state, child, and flew her over to another state. So that's what you call trafficking. That is trafficking. And she had pictures and everything. So I remember that. So I'm like, well, damn, like, y'all ain't said nothing about, him having to catch some charges dealing with like having inappropriate acts with minors. So that's about he done had everything thrown at him but that. But that damn little man did say that there were gonna be likely be more charges to come. He said it. Let me say this. He said it could be more charges to come. It could be more just charges to come against him and other people. Did y'all hear that there's a woman that came out filing a lawsuit against his Diddy's son, Christian? Child, I said, damn way. It's a lot damn going on right now. It is a lot going on. But Christian Combs and got some charges thrown on him. There's a woman who's claiming that he SA'd her, I think on a yacht. I think this was in Los Angeles. And yeah, like, I think now it's like these charges. I think she had maybe before filed a suit, but I think now it's like these criminal charges. It's just so much, y'all. I'm just trying to keep it all together. I've been trying to kind of keep it all together. And like I said, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come out here. We're gonna talk about Kim's book, Kim Lost Words. But then the damn lawsuit happened. Gloria Allred, and I said, Lord, so Glory like, listen, I need y'all attention. Y'all know when me and my daughter come on TV and have these cameras in front of us, y'all know we mean business, because y'all know she got her daughter too that practices law. Child, don't ask me what her name is right now. I can just see her face. So it's y'all. I looked up Gloria, like 85 years old, still getting to the money. 85 years old. Gloria was like, listen, his fucking ass doing the most. And before I take my last breath, I'm going to be a part of this. I'm going to be part of history before I go on and clock on out of here. So she made sure she held that press conference. Brianna says, hey, girl, check your messages when you get a chance. Okay. Hi, Brianna. My messages, on Facebook? You hit me up on Facebook. But Gloria's like, listen, we got some things to talk about. We need everyone's attention. So we're going to go ahead and give our attention to Gloria. Listen, child, let's just listen. Let's stop here. Let me ask y'all, let me know in the comments, do y'all want me to go ahead and jump over and see what the hell Gloria's saying with this woman, Talia Graves, who's filing a suit? Or do y'all want me to jump into and let y'all know what the hell Kim had said in this book that people are questioning? Let me go on and share my screen. This book right here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Y'all let me know which one, because y'all, they done got me all twisted, because I just knew like how I was finna go ahead and had this show going. And then that suit came out and I said, well, I'll be damned. Listen now. Listen, I'll be damned. So listen, this is the book. I got the book in front of me. Let me know. Y'all want to see right here, right now, what the hell Gloria got to say? Or are y'all like, let's hear what Kim's last words were. Y'all let me know. Yes, see what Gloria say. Y'all want me to see what Gloria say? Because we can jump on over there. So, yeah, because Gloria is talking, and yeah, she has some things to say. So let's just go and jump over there to Gloria. We can get into both, but I want to see kind of which one y'all wanted me to get into first. But we're going to get into both, y'all. I got time today, because I got time today. So, but yes, so Gloria is holding a press. She held a press conference today. Titled Sean Diddy Combs Accuser announced new lawsuit with Gloria Allred live. So yeah, get ready. Please like, share, and subscribe. Fair use. We about to hear what the hell Gloria got to say about this mofo. And it is what it is. So let's go.
And we should warn everyone, viewer discretion heavily advised during this moment.
Gloria Allred, and with me is our client, plaintiff Thalia Graves.
I want to let y'all know I got to speed up. Gloria be talking real slow, and then she got this thing about when you ask her a question later, she got to get her thoughts together and repeat the question before she give you a simple answer. Child, it's something. But y'all, I told y'all she 85. She 85. So let's get to it.
Today, we filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, for our client, plaintiff Thalia Graves, who is given permission to use her name. The case number of the 26-page complaint is 1:24-CV-07-201. In her lawsuit, Thalia, through her attorneys, sues Sean Diddy Combs, also known as the defendant, and another individual and other entities. The complaint alleges in part in the first cause of action that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a, quote, violation of New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act by viciously and violently forcing sexual contact, oral sex, and sexual intercourse on the plaintiff, end quote. In addition, the complaint alleges in the second cause of action that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York civil rights law, quote, section 52-B, end quote, by, quote, raping plaintiff and recording it. Defendants caused plaintiff to be depicted in a video image, unclothed and with intimate body parts exposed, and engaged in sexual conduct with another person, end quote. The lawsuit also alleges that, quote, defendant Combs and another defendant published and or disseminated the videos without plaintiff's knowledge or consent. On information and belief, defendants have continued to disseminate the video, including by selling it as pornography through the present, end quote. In our complaint, we ask that, quote, defendants should be ordered to account for and destroy all copies of the video that are in their actual or constructive possession, custody, or control, end quote. And that, quote, defendants should be temporarily and permanently enjoined from further disseminating or publishing any intimate videos of plaintiff, end quote. We also allege in the third cause of action that Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York City Administrative Code, section 10-180, quote, recording and showing others the video of themselves violently raping the plaintiff, and the defendants disclosed an intimate image of plaintiff without her consent, end quote. As a result of these and other allegations in our complaint, we request that judgment be entered against defendants as follows. Awarding compensatory damages for all physical injuries, emotional distress, psychological harm, anxiety, humiliation, physical and emotional pain and suffering, family and social disruption, and other harm in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding punitive damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding attorney's fees and costs pursuant to any applicable statute or law, including under New York City Administrative Code, section 10-1104, New York Civil Rights Law, section 52-B2, New York City Administrative Code, section 10-180, and any other applicable statute or law. We're also seeking additional relief that the court may deem just and proper. As a result of what is alleged in the lawsuit, Thalia alleges that she has suffered and continues to suffer, among other damages, emotional harm, including mental anguish, emotional distress, humiliation, and physical damage. In a few minutes, Thalia will speak to the impact and harm that she has suffered and continues to suffer. She will take this courageous step because she thinks that it is important that the public understand the impact that rape and other criminal acts have on those who have been victimized. Often victims do not speak publicly about the specific damages that criminal acts cause them. Some of the many reasons that victims do not speak out publicly about this include being ashamed or shamed for this. But we believe that victims should not be shamed, and instead those who committed the criminal acts against them should be ashamed and take responsibility for the harm that they have caused victims to suffer. We are very proud of Thalia for speaking out today in order to help victims of rape and other acts of sexual violence against them. In addition, we thank our co-counsel Marianne Wang, Heather Gregoria, and Jasly Liriano for their exceptional legal work on this complaint. Our goal for Thalia is very simple. We want justice for her, and we are looking forward to winning it. It is long overdue for those who have caused her to suffer to be held accountable. Okay, a little more. There you go. Thank you.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal. Some of the hardest parts of this pain are the shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened has often made me feel worthless, isolated, and sometimes responsible for what happened to me. My family issues made the pain even worse. I was already going through a divorce at the time of the assault and did not get the support that I needed. I was also faced with disbelief and judgment. This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships. Where many relationships became aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn, that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin. Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle. I also suffer with physical problems such as chronic pain, sexual discomfort. The violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
Thalia is not going to be taking any questions, but I'll be happy to take some questions.
Gloria, could you talk about sort of the context of this assault, what, where, when, what,
The question is, can I speak about the context of this alleged assault? No.
Gloria, can you just speak on, I know it's difficult for your client going through this, but what prompted her to come forward now?
It was time to file this lawsuit.
What do you know about the video that was allegedly recorded during the alleged audition?
Question is, what do I know about the video that was recorded?
What do you know, where's it now? Is it still, where's the video?
Yeah. There are many details in the complaint. The complaint alleges that it was taken without her knowledge and consent, that she wouldn't have consented, that it was then published and viewed by others, and may still be out there being viewed.
Do the allegations of this complaint overlap in any way with the criminal charges against Mr. Combs?
The question is, does this complaint overlap with the criminal charges that have been filed? My understanding of the criminal charges are that the charges are sex trafficking, RICO, and transportation of a prostitute. We are not alleging any of those criminal charges in our complaint.
Has she been in touch with federal prosecutors at all?
Question is, have I been in touch?
Has you and your client been in touch with federal prosecutors about allegations?
About this? I have no comment.
Or what about a grand jury?
Pardon me?
Grand jury, federal prosecutors, or grand jury has misraised folks to either?
Is the question, has she testified before the grand jury? Is that the question? Let's put it this way. I never comment on whether any of my clients have testified before the grand jury or will testify before the grand jury, since the grand jury is a secret proceeding.
Gloria, this other defendant in the video, alleged defendant, is this a celebrity?
Is the other defendant alleged to be in the video, and what was the remainder of your question?
Is that person, that alleged defendant, is that person a celebrity?
Is the person that has not been named by me a celebrity? Not as far as I know.
Gloria, as disturbing as the video may be, have you yourself laid eyes on the video?
Have I looked at the video? No. I have not viewed the video, nor do I wish to view the video, nor should anyone else view the video, with the exception of if law enforcement and a court believe that they should and are permitted to view a pornographic video as evidence in the case. If they have it, then that would be it.
Or just to be clear,
We don't ever view pornographic videos, even if they might end up being evidence in the case, and we do not transmit any such video, if we have it, to any other person, because we do not think it is permitted under the law.
Gloria, Elizabeth Wagner from CNN.
Would you please speak up? It's hard to hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure. And a bit short. In the complaint, you noted that your client learned about this video in November 2023. That is around the time of the first public lawsuit, at least, against Sean Combs from his ex-girlfriend, Patsy. I'm curious how you and your client learned about the existence of this video.
You're saying that this incident is alleged to have occurred about the time of another lawsuit? I'm sorry, I can't understand your question.
Per the complaint, this alleged incident occurred in 2001, but your client learned about the existence of the video in 2023, more than 20 years after. I'm curious how she learned about the existence of that video.
Yeah, so the question is, she alleges that the incident took place in 2001, but you are saying that it is alleged in the complaint that was filed that she learned about it in 2022. And then the question is, how did she learn about it? We have no comment in response to that question.
Gloria, has Diddy reached out to your client?
Excuse me?
Has Diddy reached out to your client?
Question is, has Diddy reached out to her? I think we will not comment on that either.
Gloria, I know this is very difficult for your client, but would you be able to share a little bit of her background? Where did she come from? Or what did she do? Can you give us some details about your benefits?
No, I can't provide further details about where she came from or what she does.
Gloria, to your knowledge, has any law enforcement agency reviewed this video for possible criminal charges?
So is the question, has any law enforcement agency
Viewed the video for possible criminal
viewed the video? I'm not able to answer that question.
Your client says that she was threatened after this alleged attack. Can you elaborate on those threats?
Question is, can I elaborate on the allegation that she was threatened after the attacks? And no, because really I'm not able to comment on or expand upon any evidence or anything that might have evidentiary value at this time.
Or there's an allegation in the lawsuit that the video was made available for sale. Can you elaborate on that? And was Mr. Combs
There's an allegation that the video was made available to whom?
for sale?
Oh, that was made available for sale.
Correct. That's new. There have been other accusers, other women who have said that they believe they were filmed and that the videos were shared. But I think this might be the first complaint allegation that the video was made available for sale somehow.
I have not compared what we have alleged in the lawsuit to what others have previously alleged in their lawsuits. So I can't tell you whether this is the first that has alleged that this video was made available for sale or not.
Would Mr. Combs be involved in that alleged sale?
There are no other details that we can provide
So you
in
filed,
reference to the videos.
so you filed it today, right?
Yes, the lawsuit was filed this morning. And we have a case number, which I have provided, and we will pass around and provide my statement, which includes the case number. And this is part of the first page of the complaint. So you want to stand up and hold this? Want to stand up? Okay. And there is a redaction of what we're showing you. So just to tell you,
And to your right, please.
this is the first page in part and redacted.
Talia, to your left, please.
Pardon me?
Talia, on your right, if you hold a little bit. Thank you. And right below that.
Oh.
And one more, sir, please.
And I'll leave this on the table afterwards.
Yeah, there's a few networks here.
Right, attorney Gloria Allred there announcing that lawsuit that was just filed today with her client against Sean Diddy Combs. It looks like possible, maybe more questions. So let's listen in right here on live now.
Spanish. Would she be able to give us the Spanish?
She speaks Spanish? No. No, she can't.
Please pronounce her name on camera just so we have the correct.
Do you want to pronounce her name?
Talia Graves.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Lord, are you in contact with the person who told your client about the video described in the lawsuit?
We cannot disclose who we're in contact with in order to have investigated this claim or any investigation that may ensue after this press conference.
Gloria,
I want to add that if any other person has any evidence that might relate to our complaint, we, of course, would be happy to speak on a confidential basis with any person who may wish to contact us and provide us whatever evidence they wish to provide, and we would thank them for it.
I'm asking because I'm wondering if those.
Okay, the question is, did she come to me after the indictment last week? No.
And as a follow-up, how is your client feeling after those 3 charges were brought against Combs, even though he denies them?
How is she feeling after
After the charges?
the criminal charges
Yes.
were filed
Yes.
and that he has been arraigned? Okay. You want to comment? Oh, no, we're not having her comment. I'm sorry. I would say overall it's been a very stressful and anxiety producing experience, and she's lived with all of it for many years and is reliving it now. I think she did comment on how she felt about the criminal charges at the end of her statement, and I'm not going to ask her to answer any other questions. With all due respect, it's a fair question, but she's just not going to be answering questions today.
Gloria, can you tell us how your client came to meet Diddy?
How can I tell you how my client
Met Diddy?
met Diddy? I am not going to expand on those details at this press conference, but any member of the public or press, is of course permitted to see whatever is in the complaint that has been filed in the Southern District of New York.
Gloria, has your client been in contact with any other victims?
Has my client been in contact with any other victims or alleged victims? I'm unable to comment on anyone with whom she has been in contact or who has contacted her, because those would be private conversations. So we will maintain the privacy of those conversations. For one thing, I don't know if whomever contacted her wanted their conversation to be confidential. So I can't comment on that. Thank you for the question.
Gloria,
Anything else?
yes, Gloria, this tape, was it secretly made, or was your client aware that she was being taped during the alleged assault, and now it's found out that the tape is out there? Or did she never even know that she was being taped during the alleged assault?
I can't comment on the degree of consciousness or lack of consciousness or awareness of Thalia during the alleged rape and during the alleged videotaping of the rape. I can say that she would never have consented to the videotaping and did not consent and did not authorize the videotaping, in the same way that she alleges that she would never have consented to be victimized in the way that she alleges that she was. And I think you could see today how upsetting it was for Thalia to have to learn and experience what she alleges that she did learn and experience from that horrific time.
Gloria, are you representing any other women that may also be suing?
Am I representing any other women in reference to, or men, in reference to Diddy? Yes.
So there's other claims, there are other.
This lawsuit that we have filed, and in answer to a question which you have not yet asked, but probably will, am I going to file other lawsuits? I just don't have any comment on that at this time. Any other questions? And I think that will conclude.
I didn't hear you when I asked if you would be able to comment in Spanish. She speaks in Spanish?
No. The answer is no. She is not going to be doing any interviews in English, Spanish, or any other language. But thank you for asking.
Does she speak Spanish?
I don't know. Any other questions?
I just have one last question.
Okay, one last question, go ahead.
As far as the video goes, do you know, or does your client know, if there has been more than one copy or multiple people have a version of the video?
I am not able to comment on whether we know if there is more than one copy of the video. If there is any witness who wishes to contact me confidentially to tell me that they know that someone else has a copy, or that they have seen it or been told that someone else saw it online, we would be happy to speak to that person. Is there? I think that's all the question.
Just for returning purposes, is she a New York native?
Is she a New York
native?
Native. I can't tell you at this time if she is a New York native. She does not reside in New York at this time. Okay, thank you so much for coming, and we're going to hand out copies of our statements. Okay.
All right, just listening in there, Gloria Allred.
Yes, that was a lot. So what you just watched was the attorney Gloria Allred. She was representing Talia Graves, a Diddy victim who's alleging she was assaulted in 2001. So while, that was going on, I did find the lawsuit. We can get into that with the details surrounding her, her complaint, her allegations. Let me get through some of these comments before we hop on over there. But it's a very sad situation, and it looks like the details, it's just going to be a lot more to that. So just brace yourself for that. I haven't gotten into the detail. I've seen earlier like an article, I think from TMZ, but I was like, well, let me see, if I can find the actual, the paperwork, the lawsuit, and it has even more details in TMZ. And y'all know TMZ be descriptive, like they was just there in the mix when they put out something. But I did find the PDF for the lawsuit, so we will definitely get into that. It's a lot. Ariane says, I'm not trying to be mean, but do y'all see all the acting she doing? This mess is crazy. PM's like, Ariane, who's acting? So Ariane said, it's a lot of holes in this story. Please, God, step in. PM says, Ariane, Diddy was a dangerous man, so now's the time for everyone to come forward while he's detained, in my opinion. That was a thought I had too, given that he's detained, where people who had been quiet for so long out of fear, Look, it took for Cassie to come out and just be bold and kind of tell her story before you started kind of seeing the snowball and other people coming forward and sharing their story. And a lot of times it's just that one person. And she ended up being that one person who came forward. So like PM, I do feel like there are people who feel more confident about coming up and sharing their story, their experience, just because he's off the streets. So I do agree with that. Ariane says, yes, he is, but it's a lot not being said. A little puppy says, and I'm such an advocate for women who are victims of domestic violence. The terror they feel cannot be fully understood unless you have experienced it yourself. I'm glad she has an amazing lawyer. PM says that I agree. So let's jump over to, let me share my screen so we can get into the documents. Let's get into these documents. Let me take this off and try to make it as big as I can. So these are the legal documents that Thalia, the plaintiff, was holding with her attorney, Gloria Allred. So it's Thalia Graves versus Child, all of Diddy's aliases. Y'all know he got a billion of them, but she got the record labels up in here too. So she likes Sean Combs. There's someone by the name of Joseph Sherman. Daddy's House Recording, Bad Boy Entertainment and Holdings, Bad Boy Production and Holdings, Inc., Bad Boy Booking Holdings, Bad Boy Recordings, LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment, LLC, Bad Boy Productions, LLC, and organizational. Child, they got everybody, like, so everybody on this lawsuit. So let's get into the details of what she's alleging, that took place with her against her will. It says, in or around the summer of 2001, plaintiff's life was violently knocked off course when the defendant, Sean Combs and Joseph Sherman, viciously arred her at a Bad Boy Records studio in New York City. Joseph Sherman, do y'all know who that is? Is that somebody we should know? Let me see if I can Google him and see if it I think I read somewhere that she had said that Diddy and his head of security assaulted her. Yeah, so I'm looking up some images right now to try to get a picture of who he is. Try to get a picture of who he is, because I read it probably was maybe in the TMZ article that it was supposedly Diddy and his head of security that essayed her, back in 2001. So I want to show y'all before we go forward. Let me jump over for a minute because I just want to put a face. To who this person is as we go. So I like to put a face. So you all see this man right here with Diddy. This is who's they saying is Sean Combs. It was his bodyguard, Sherman. This man right here with this blazer, this jacket, standing behind him. So that's the face of the other predator. So we'll get back to the documents of the suit. All right, so there we go. We have the face. Okay, it says plaintiff was 25 at the time. So y'all, I think when I did the math, she's like around like 48 right now. So it was like 24 years ago, I think. 23 years ago. So I think when I did the math, she's like 48 right now. So to me, she looks pretty good. She's aging quite well, but she was 25 when it happened. So it says plaintiff was 25 at the time and was dating one of Combs' employees, a relationship that Combs exploited to allure plaintiff into meeting him in Sherman alone. Once they successfully sequestered plaintiff, Combs and Sherman gave plaintiff a drink, likely laced with a drug that eventually caused her to briefly lose consciousness. She awoke to find herself bound and restrained. Oh, hell no. That's some stuff out of the movies, y'all. Now she done woke up and found herself tied up. Jesus. All right, let's get back to it. Lord Jesus. That's a lot. Already that was just a lot because I wasn't even expecting that. Not her waking up and finding herself. Mm-mm. So it goes on to say Combs and Sherman proceeded to brutally SA and violate plaintiff. Combs mercilessly AR'd her annually and vaginally. Sherman forcibly slammed plaintiff onto a table and slapped her and repeatedly thrust his penis into her mouth. Both men were undeterred by the plaintiff's cries for help throughout the attack. Plaintiff never recovered from the defendant's violent R. She had suicidal thoughts and ideation and has received extensive psychological treatment because of the defendant's attack. For decades, she remained silent and did not report the crime out of fear that the defendants would use their power to ruin her life, as they had repeatedly, explicitly threatened to do. To this day, plaintiff suffers from severe depression, anxiety, and panic attacks, and still lives in fear of defendants. Any progress plaintiff had made in healing from the attack over the years was dramatically reversed on around November 27, 2023, when she learned for the first time that Combs and Sherman had video recorded the horrific R 22 years before and had shown the video to multiple men seeking to publicly degrade and humiliate both plaintiff and her boyfriend. Plaintiff could not believe that the defendants would record themselves committing such a gruesome crime and then proceed proudly and widely to disseminate the recording of it. She was distraught and sunk into deep depression. She again considered ending her life. This action seeks redress for defendants' brutalizing, misogynistic, and violent attacks on plaintiffs starting in 2001. With their R and continuing in the subsequent years as they compounded her humiliation by showing the video of the essay to others. Child, that's a lot. Like, yes, it's child, Lord Jesus. Right. That's what I'm saying. And she was saying, at the time she was going through a divorce. So she didn't really have like a lot of support from a family situation. So she was just dealing with a lot by herself. So, and here's this guy who got all this money, power, fame, violating her. Like, and then y'all know a lot of times it's followed with threats, so to me, it's no surprise that she didn't say anything all this time because look, it took for Cassie to finally come out and say something. And she was just, she was famous for being connected with him, but she didn't have like a name to stand on by herself. Think about the people who has a name to stand on by themselves, who was too fearful to come forward, too fearful to do even what she did. So when we think about it that way, for Cassie to have done what she did, that's huge. That's huge because he had violated so many people, and so many people have been fearful for many years to step forward because of the power that this man had. They said that even at his own parties, he would have like the police force there. So child, if he's the one who's the perpetrator, how you look or how are you going to feel confident to go to the local police about the person who party they was just at? Like, really think about it. How? if you're used to seeing like the local police and the sheriff, the people in the blue and wearing in uniform at his events, them the same people that you're expected to go to when stuff get funky and things go down, for you to go to, for them to be your savior. No, you're not going to feel comfortable, because you see them also as being bought and paid for. Everybody is bought and paid for. He had a lot of enablers around him, which is during that press conference last week, when that attorney general, I think that was his title, said that they were trying to go for, they was looking out those people who they could identify that was enabling him. Like, they're like, listen, you about to get this work too, because you were accomplished, you knew what was going on. There was so many people around who knew and who saw things, but they just turned the other way. And a lot of it was just out of fear. They fear just for their life, also their livelihood, not wanting to be on the soup line because of, making him upset and getting fired. And then y'all, a lot of times say if you get fired by a certain person, they can blackball you. And then next thing you know, you can't get work, in town by anybody or even in the industry, because this person have blackballed you and just smeared your name. Y'all know who's been coming out talking about that, like with their name being smeared? Was he Freddie, one of the guys from Making the Band? He was saying that Diddy like messed his career up, because when he didn't want to oblige by his gestures, like he basically just smeared his name and made it to where other artists in the industry did not want to work with him. He's now talking again, basically more so like, shit, I was telling y'all asses, but he was like, he never was afraid of him. He didn't like how Diddy had messed up his career, but he never lived in fear of him. But it did weigh in on him. I think there a couple of years ago, I did a video on him when he was like on the internet crying, just talking about how I think he's Freddie P, I think that's his name, but he was just crying about just how his life had just been impacted for the negative since doing the show Making of the Band, because of Diddy and him not wanting to do the things he was wanting him to do. And he didn't get into specifics about what those things were, but it was just some things that he wasn't here for. And because he wasn't here for them, it resulted in him not being able to get work in the industry. So it was hard for him to try to make a living, because a lot of times he said when he'd try to go out and get a regular job, people looking at him like, yo, ain't you that guy from Making of the Band? What are you doing here? It just made it hard for him to try to blend in with just regular people in society, because they were used to seeing him on TV. So they had a different type of expectation of him when it comes to what type of work he should be doing. Child, that video, like, it was very sad and disheartening. I probably probably need to review it, y'all. It's my own content. I used to cover a lot of celebrity content on here when I first came on to YouTube as a content creator. And it was just very sad just seeing this man just break down because of what another man did to him, and how it just impacted him, and how he wasn't able to fully show up for his own son in the way that he wanted to, like financially, like just however you're supposed to show up for your child, because he was so broken because of Diddy. Like, this man, this is definitely a man who can really rot in hell, because he have ruined so many lives, both men and women. And Peep Game, when he was talking last week about getting out on bail, he was like, well, I promise I won't interact with women. Motherfucker, it's not just women who you traumatize, it's men too. So you don't need to be talking to damn nobody but the wall. You don't need to have nothing to do with no animals, men, women, children, nothing. While you talking about, not having no dealings with no women. Hell, most of the victims, there's a lot of male victims. So y'all don't get me going. Little Puppy says, I hope he spends the rest of his life in prison. This woman is a survivor. Yes, I agree. You can tell how hurt she is. Like, I can feel the emotion when I saw it. Just, some say, some people gonna have their opinions. Some may not believe her or believe she, it's real emotion. Child, for me, it looked real. And then just what she said of what her encounter was, it blinds up with a lot of people's story, unfortunately, of what their encounter was with him. Just with, from, with Cassie talking about, in last year during her lawsuit. And then we still got Kim's lost words, child. Kim talking, is alleged they her lost words. So the things that she say, like all these things, you just see common themes. Yvonne McGowan, hello, says, this is heartbreaking. I pray that he is held accountable to the fullest of the law for all the physical and mental anguish that he has caused humanity. Ariane says, my question is, if everyone knows about those parties, why is everyone attending those parties? Because I think the people who are attending those parties are with the shits. I think they with it. A lot of people who are attending those parties are people who are part of the industry, and they're predators. They damn just as nasty as he is. He's just the one that's caught because he's hosting it. But yeah, you got other people who are just as guilty as he is. Those names just hasn't, officially come out as far as by the authorities, but names have been floating around. We've been seeing different people in the industry since Diddy's arrest been moving assets around, dropping from certain high positions that they have. You've been hearing talks of people visiting y'all. I think I seen something hit the news. They talking about Jay-Z was seen, I think, coming out, either going into a law office for a divorce attorney or coming out or something like that. They say Kevin Hart recently just suddenly sold off his restaurants. I didn't even know he had no damn restaurants. I didn't know. Apparently, I guess he had some vegan restaurants. I didn't know he had restaurants. We had a top executive who dropped down from his position, like at a label or something like that. So you've been seeing people kind of moving around. But Ariane, I think there was a lot of other people in the industry that was on board with it. They just was on board with it. And then they just felt like, okay, it's been going on for so long as far as these freak offs, to where it became like an industry norm, to where it's just like, oh, well, this is just what we do, what he does. Like, okay, I guess I'll participate. It's been going on for this long. Nothing's happened. Hell, he got local police officers there doing security. From the word on the street is that some people have said at his events, he would have the local police there working. So again, child, we waiting for the names to drop. We'll see if it happens, because y'all remember Epstein, he disappeared before we even really got to see really what that list was looking like. The question is, will we see what the list of people who participated with this nonsense that Diddy was that he put on, if we'll be able to see what that list of guests look like, because I feel like they got over on us with Epstein by not really releasing that full list. You had some names here and there dropped, but you didn't have those real heavy hitter names, them politician names, them high up people in Hollywood. Now, it wasn't them kind of names. It was some names of some randoms that we probably didn't even know. So I've been waiting to see if they would try to play games like that and try to hold back that list of names, because the names that I've been hearing floating around, child, it'll just shut the damn whole Hollywood down. The sports industry, the music industry, the movie industry. It's all kinds of names floating around. And I'm hearing that he's talking and he's trying to, negotiate, I guess, will and deal. So it's just a lot that I feel like that's going to come out. I just hope that he survives this whole ordeal, to where he's forced to have to deal with and stand up in the court of law. Yeah. Because Epstein, we didn't see it go down that way. I feel like it could have went down that way, but I just feel like the ball was dropped on a higher level, way above mine and many of your pay grade. Like, the ball was intentionally dropped, I feel, for the sake of protecting higher up people. PM says that's what he did to a lot of artists, right? Exactly. PM says, then you got that leaves before the freaks get started. Then you got that leaves before the freaks get started. The Tea with Drink says Kim was writing a book about him and then she randomly passed. The whole industry probably had been to Diddy's party with all them damn baby oils. So speaking of the book, child, let's segue into this book. We already are like at an hour mark, approaching this hour mark, countdown to 1 hour. So listen, Gloria took over the first part of the show. We want to get into seeing what she was talking about as far as the latest lawsuit that they slapped on him. I feel like there are more to come. So stay tuned. But this show, initially when I scheduled this show last night, was to get into this book right here, Kim's Lost Words. So this is what I wanted to cover on tonight's show on this channel. Thank you. Welcome to each and every one of you. Please make sure you hit the like button. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Kim's Lost Words. It's not a long read. It's pretty short, but I want to get into it with you all because a lot of people have been having opinions on this book. Some say it's real, some say it's fake, but I wanted to just share these words with you all so you can form your own opinion pertaining to what was supposed to be her last words. So this book, it's titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. And this is written, it says it's by Jamal T. Millwood for Kimberly A. Porter. So in the book, it has a disclaimer. It says one of Kim Porter's final wishes was for this memoir diary to be made public. Out of protection for certain parties and their potential criminal activity, some celebrities, performers, and events have been represented with X's. I mean, the letter X, due to their highly explosive nature. At some point in the future, this information will be revealed to the public. Regarding Kim's sudden death and the mysterious illnesses of I'll Be Sure and Jamie Foxx, evidence does exist, and that points to foul play and or poisoning. God bless Kim Porter and all of Sean Combs' victims, both male and female. So, child, Jamie Foxx name. Who else name will we hear in this book? So, chapter 1, it goes into the introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband, father of my oldest child, and one of my oldest friends in life, I'll Be Sure. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it didn't work out. I was still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with, a man whom I love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here, I have to tell the truth, unfortunately, because deep down, I knew everything that was happening, but I lied to myself a lot. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told despite the fact it will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped. Child, I felt that. She said that man must be stopped. Aqua says this is just more proof to show how hypersexualized our society has always been. A damn shame. I agree. A damn shame. That's why who was that? Somebody, Ariane, was like, how all these people still going to the party? Because they all got the demon in them. They all running amok. That's how. They all running amok. PM says, I felt that too. Child, I felt it too. So let's get into it. The chapters are really short. So we're already on to chapter 2. It's a really short read. Chapter 2, Humbling Beginnings. I was born to loving parents Jake Porter and Sarah L. Porter in the Peach State of Georgia. All through Columbus High School, where I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. In the 10th grade, one of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown and my home, Georgia. That conversation was so important as I look back now. It changed my life. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We were married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way. But I was young, and it just felt like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, but we got past that quickly. He is just a super dope guy and amazing father. Though we separated, we are forever bonded through Quincy. Thank you, Al. I will always love you. When I met Sean, I was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm. And before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing bigger things. He was doing things bigger than most men dare to even dream. It then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. The first time he said he just wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, "What the hell?" I hated it. He bled from it, and there was shit on it. I left him alone after that. Child. So he wanted her to play with his behind, and she obliged. Listen, she like, listen, I'm a douche. Listen, she was trying to be a one and done, but that was the intent. Chapter 3, Second Chances. Sean kept reaching out and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me by saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, Sean." I tried to get up to leave, but he pulled my arm. As I turned to him, he looked deep into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as my attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this as his manipulation tactic. Not yet. God, I was so young, so naive. He continued, "Let's have dinner." And I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops to impress me. He pulled the chair out for me to sit. He pulled the chair out for me to sit. Back then, he was always a gentleman. He smiled and said, "Look," as he sat across from me. "I hated it and I never want to do it again. Give me another chance." Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. Ariane said, "No, sir, she better than me." She better than me too, Ariane. She better than me too. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun. Things were going great, and we were living the dream that I dreamt about throughout my youth. Sean and Clive were working on Bad Boy, and he had his first couple of artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from West Coast called Notorious B.I.G. to help Chris develop. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip hop to make it happen. Things could not be more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. It was insane. Sean said, "Baby, I can't stop thinking about it." "What the hell are you talking about?" I responded. Sean continued, "I just can't stop thinking about that night. It was amazing. Can you screw me one more time, please?" I became infuriated. "Why don't you go to Clive? He is the one screwing you, isn't he?" Then Sean hit me. This was the first time, but he slapped me hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, I'm sorry. Holding my cheek where he hit me, I turned and ran off. That should have been it, but I guess I am a glutton for punishment. He sent flowers and a bunch of expensive gifts. Then we bumped into each other at another industry event. He sat down next to me. This was deja vu. Sean started imagining running into you here. Get the fuck away from me. I forced out. He became more serious as he says, "Look, baby, I'm sorry." But I just glared at him. "There is nothing you can ever say to me, nothing." After an awkward silence, he finished, "You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix this, but I'll do anything. I'm sorry. Shit. So he can be so sweet. Here we go with the love thing. This time it's not falling in. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite everything, I missed him. As he stood up to walk away, I remember hearing myself saying, "Call me later." What the fuck is wrong with me? Child, I be saying these damn signs. She's like, "Listen," and it all start again. It all start again. Chapter 4, forgiveness. Ooh, child, y'all ready? Brace yourself. Forgiveness. Sean arrived with flowers in hand. He wanted to see Quincy. He was so good with him, and Quincy ran over to hug him. I felt my heart melting. He asked Quincy, "How you doing, Tiger?" Quincy looked so innocent as he responded, "I'm good. I miss you." Sean's response sounded genuine. "I miss you too. We'll hang out tomorrow, okay?" Sean gave him a little love tap on the butt. "It's bedtime," Quincy replied. "Okay, good night," as he turned to head towards his bedroom. Here was the man I fell in love with, but what was I thinking? Shit, not only does he want butt plugs, he slapped the shit out of me. So why am I still talking to him? They say that love is blind, but is it stupid too? As Quincy left, Sean looked at me and smiled. "Baby, let's go have some fun. The babysitter is on its way. I just want to show you a good time." I was so mad at myself for melting as I said, "Okay." We sat on the couch laughing and genuinely having a good time when the doorbell rang. The babysitter had arrived, and so we left. As we exited the house, a big man climbed out of the limo and opened the door for us. He wore a sharp suit with a gun noticeably tucked under his arm. I thought to myself, he could have made it invisible, or did he want me to see it? Despite my reservations, Gene was a sweetheart. He was very courteous and polite, and he tipped his head and said, "Good evening, ma'am." Gene drew a smile out of me as I responded, "Hello." Gene and I would see each other a lot after this. So y'all know that's Gene Deal. Y'all know he be talking a lot on the internet. He used to be a bodyguard for Puffy P. Diddy. Gene Deal. Ariane says, "I know he was passing all kinds of diseases. Poor Kim, disgusting." Yes, poor Kim. But she said, listen, she was a fool in love. Her words. Sean Niels, chapter 5. The year passed, and thankfully, we didn't have many bad arguments, although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo. He would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up, Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, and of course, when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back again. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first, I was mad, but Mary was beautiful. It was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was hot. I was young, and exploring my sexuality was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. That is until one day I came home to a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter. Sean was sitting with Albie Sure at the dinner table. I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of all of us being together had dissolved a long time ago, but it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down and we had drinks. It was fun. The conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple of drinks. I remember him saying, "It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment and the quietness lingered in the room. I asked, "What do you mean all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no. Sean, this is my son's father." "Al, say something." What Al said was mind boggling. Quote, "I don't know it. I don't know. It could kind of be hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship. And if things became awkward, how would it affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagine both of them inside of me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals. But what happened next, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. So then it says Al, and then it just has these X's. So it seemed like it's insinuating that Al started giving, I guess, fellatio onto Diddy. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when I saw Diddy, I guess, giving it back to Al, I ran out the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean called out to me, "Oh, come on, Kimmy." They didn't chase after me. She said they continued to do the do, y'all. I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while, but that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position, not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it, but that's for later, child. At what moment y'all think she should have got ran the hell out? She should have got the hell on because she stuck around. She stuck around. She was, listen, would you call that a soldier? Was she a soldier? What do y'all call that? I could say, "Oh, hell no." But I mean, you said we would have got ghost a long ass time ago. A long time ago, we would have got ghost. Child. Hi, Laura. She made it to Cheyenne. Hey, Laura, I'm glad you made it to your destination safely. Welcome. Y'all hit the like button. It's 44 y'all in the building. I'm trying to get through this book. So y'all do me right. Do me a solid. Make sure my likes are where they need to be. But let's get back to it, y'all. We on chapter 6, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. I know some of y'all don't want to buy the book, but goddamn it, I got it. So we getting into it. Aqua says she should have left at the butt. Right, right. That's what I would have got the hell on. It ain't enough damn love in the world. PM says, yes, she witnessed too much. No, I would have left forever, ever. Hey, Tanae. Hello, chapter 6, Pac. Y'all get ready. Biggie took over East Coast hip hop, and Sean was the brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took credit for them. And the music was unstoppable. At this point, Sean was sleeping with all the power players, and everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. Sean wheeled and dealed in a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys that really controlled the music to stay on top. A lot of the names average people have never heard of. These are the guys that make the decisions on who is winning and who is not. He hosted parties and were just fancy names for orgies, and everyone wanted in. So I guess those are those freak offs, but she didn't have a name for it, but she was like fancy parties, orgies. So it sounded like those were the freak offs. She goes on to say, when I met Pac, Sean and I had an open relationship. And yes, I slept with Pac. Shit, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind. Well, not until he tried to get Pac to join both of us. Pac was not good with that. This was where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay and he was pissed about the advances. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, they were smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in and what I am sure, Sean came in on what I am sure he would call a smooth approach. My baby is bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I was not playing with my response. Sean, what the fuck? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared upset because of Sean's words, but Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my dick bigger than yours. I bet I can make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the fuck are you talking about, nigga? I ain't trying to run no fucking train. Sean continued. What you scared of? What you scared of? Let's see who fucks better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point, we have been inviting others into our bed for a while, but I am not used to and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, nigga, you talking about pulling your fucking dick out? Sean was undaunted. What, you scared? Pac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palpable. I felt like blows could be thrown at any moment. Months passed, and the only tension between them, it was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day, while we were at the studio, it happened. I walked into Sean's office and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman. Pac don't leave that fucking studio alive. I don't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey, Sean, good morning, Jimmy. They didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast, smiling. Sean replied first. Let me get eggs sunny side up with grits and an orange juice. I could see he was hungover. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous. Jimmy, apparently not hungry, says nothing for me as he stood to exit the room. He said to Sean, let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Kim, always a pleasure, with a wink to me and a nod to Sean. He turned and walked out. Jimmy was part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't white as a sheet. I wasn't in the studio the night Pac survived being shot. Thank God. From what I understand, Sean and Chris saw Pac at the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works, after being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although they saw Pac lying there swimming in blood of his own, would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He, of course, assumed they placed the hit, and Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that will be unanswered. Tupac didn't do well. He lost a testicle, but he survived. It was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Listen, she said Puffy did it. He was behind it. Ariane saying it's the money, but fuck that. That no Diddy, yeah. Laura said, how did that man avoid AIDS? Bromlena, Laura, not Pac. Yep. Tanae said he's trying to say you scared to make Pac try and prove himself as a man. Meanwhile, did just wanted a piece of him. Wow. PM says, yep, see, that's why him and 50 don't get along. Exactly. Aqua says there's a whole Hollywood list related to Demon Diddler. A lot of names are coming out. Aqua says, wow. So chapter 7, the threats. So chapter 7 is titled Threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. Is he going to take my life if I try to escape? One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at dinner at an event. We were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on the call will be etched into my mind forever. We're going to release Who Shot You now. He waited for a response, then went on to say, of course they're going to think BIG was talking about Pac. That's the whole effing point. Nobody would give a F about his diss track against LL effing Cool J. Do you know how much money we will make with this kind of rap beef? Niggas battling after someone really got shot? This may not be the best time for this conversation. Sean was finishing up. We drop that shit tomorrow. He listened into the phone and then responded, there's going to be blood in the street. Niggas miss, Pac's alive. Let's capitalize on that shit. When he responded, it's just going to mean more money. It's just going to mean more money. He turned around and looked at me, spoke back into the phone. I'll call you back. Then hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to give a fake smile at what I heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean wasn't fooled. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening. But I responded as cool as I could muster to his intimidating stare. Yeah, of course. He took my hand saying, that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand until it hurt as he continued. Because seeing you walk in the office while I was talking about killing that mother effer and you not saying shit to me had me just a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me, he continued. He squeezed tighter. You're pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me, not something I should be concerned with, right? I had no choice but to give him the answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded, of course I'm loyal to you. He let me go as he responded, good. And remember, I'm the big dick. I snatched my hand back in pain. He smiled and says, let's start off with a good wine. He snapped his fingers and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted and what he wanted, he got. I'm trapped. Now isn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I have to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. I mean, this man just snapped his fingers in one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they poured his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is 1994. The list to get in this place is 6 months long if you are somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight also. I got up and walked out. I would be safe, but what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking? He pointed at my glass, and of course, a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes, and okay, he roughed me up once or twice, but he never punched me. He never abused me. He never hit Quincy. I would not have stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son. At that time, I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big dick. Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Shit, he enjoyed Jamie Foxx too. He gets so insanely jealous. It's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does. Damn, you're quiet tonight, he said, snapping me back into the present. I asked a question that was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. The third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, would you like something? Carter responded, no, thank you. Then says, hello to me with a smile. Smiling, I replied, hey, Carter, and took a sip of my drink. Y'all think that's Jay-Z? Because isn't his name Sean Carter? The Shans may share a bed. And then this goes on to say, the Shans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. I thought we were meeting in private. Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. I had to discuss something with her. It's fine. Go ahead. He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. It's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fists against the table, shouting, doesn't anyone have any fucking loyalty? Carter, well, that's not happening right now. Sean peered at Carter with disgust. Why the fuck are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. Fuck, he brought you on. You're stabbing him in the back. Carter responded with indignity. First, I'm tired of being that nigga's son. I need to come out from underneath his damn shadow. Sean smiled slightly. Okay, I respect that. Carter kept going. On top of that, that nigga is making that move, and it should have been with me. Sean looked at Carter blankly. Pop put Chris on. You know this. What's this really all about, Carter? Don't fucking try to play me. The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. Cornered. He had to spill it out. I want his spot, ambition. Now this is a man I can work with. Sean made a grandiose gesture towards Carter. Waiter, get this motherfucker whatever he wants. Carter smiled. Thank you. Sean responded honestly and ambition. We're going to make a lot of bread together. Carter ordered a drink and he stated again, guess he won't be leaving with that nigga to do their own label now. Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. Why don't you let me worry about that? I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean, I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in his conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me, have the limo drop you off. We didn't eat. He didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek and left. Child, that was a lot. Jay-Z, she was saying they shared a bed together, but she said, fortunately, they hadn't invited her. Divine said majority of the celebrities in that club, but they are trying their best to maintain their image. $800 a bottle. Yes, Jamie Foxx. That's what she said. Rolena says, well, did I just hear he enjoyed Jamie Foxx too? Listen, that's what she said. She like, shit, we both enjoy Jamie. Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. Pia said, yep, Jay-Z equals Sean Carter. Oh my God. She was like, listen, they shared a bed together. Fortunately, they hadn't invited me. She was up for it with Jamie, but I guess she didn't want no parts of Jay-Z. She was like, I can't do it. I guess she like, I need some type of attraction. She couldn't do the camel look. She's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Hey, Maria. Hello. Marie. I'm sorry. Hello, Marie. Hello. Welcome. PM says, wow, I knew it. Chapter 8, Kadada. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kadada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiance and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just part of life. Meeting Kadada was just one of those events. As time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was about the same time I met Kimora. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact that she was dating someone I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kadada. Kimora was too jealous for that. Yes, Kadada knew about Kimora, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kadada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all the tension and beef, we all used to hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But with Pac shooting and the suspicious surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes between Kadada and I weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We dolled up as the men groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes. A makeup artist did our makeup, and a hairstylist did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylists in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurement taken. But this time, Kadada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong. But when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, as far as props, I had nothing on Kadada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks, and the superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast musically. With all the hits, there really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kadada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As she sat, Sean said, "Bad Boy is going to clean the fuck up." From his table with Faith, Chris replied, "Hell yeah." And that new shit we busting out going to have these niggas sick. Kadada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of a ginger ale that sat over at her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, Pac's music. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, "Pac's music's going to get some love too." Sean grimaced. "Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got some differences, but you have to admit the man makes great music." Sean looked at me out the corner of his eye, then took another sip of his favorite cognac and replied, "Bad Boy got the hottest music on the fucking planet. But I ain't tripping. Something gotta get their shine. Everybody gotta get their shine, right?" Kadada sighed. "Sean, Tupac thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You two were close. You need to make this right." Sean responded indignantly. "Why the fuck would that nigga think that I had anything to do with it?" Kadada retorted, "Sean, can you blame him?" Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. "Hell yeah, I blame him. And we had a good thing going, all of us. That nigga turned on me and he has the fucking balls to blame me for his shooting. The dignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect." I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting. Do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night." Kimura heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and says, "Hey, everybody," with that big dimpled smile. I smiled and replied, "Hey." Kadada also seemed happy to see her. She says, "Hey, what's up, Kimmy?" Kimura, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight at it. "The whole place is buzzing with the fact you're sitting here accusing Sean of having Pac shot. Y'all kind of loud." She laughed. Kadada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering. But she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. "Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. We all know Sean was behind it." Kimura forced a smile. "Honey, we don't have to do this here." Kadada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. "Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot." Sean clenched his hands into fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones' daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew, but he did not want any of the smoke Quincy Jones could bring. Kadada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary both wanted to defend the super producer that made them famous, but started to stand and make their way over to the table. But Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats, watching helplessly. Kadada seemed to be on full rampage. You're not safe in the streets, Sean. You think you're untouchable. Kimura seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kadada by the hand. I gotta go to the restroom. Kadada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, "Let go of me." Kimura needed her to get her grip and said sternly, as a parent speaking to a child mid tantrum, "Da." Kadada turned to her and yelled, "What?" Kimura nodded towards the crowded room, and Kadada looked around. Here, she deflated slightly. Kimura, now in control, spoke firm but softly. Let's go powder our nose." Kadada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted away, I asked, "Sean, you okay?" Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around, saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get the pitcher of ginger ale from Kadada's table. He poured himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, and put the pitcher under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my God, is he peeing in the pitcher? He smiled at me as he put the pitcher back from underneath the table and replied to me, "I'm good." Then he stood and returned the pitcher to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we have an argument again. Kadada and Kimura made their way back to the Kadada's table to sit. As Sean watched on quietly, Sean made small talk. "Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for?" As Kadada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath. And Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath. "If I'm right." Relieved, I replied, "Babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs." Sean glared at Kadada's table the entire night. Ain't that some shit, y'all? That goddamn man peed in the pitcher of the ginger ale. And that woman had no clue. What they say, never leave your drink. But child, that's on a whole level. You know, we talk about don't leave your drink unattended. His motherfucking ass peed in the pitcher, not in her just glass that she had already poured her drink into. The pitcher. Brolena says, not the camel. Tanae says, this is random, but I wonder if Master P knows anything. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Hello, hello. Brolena said, dang, so the rumors of Jamie mysterious near-death illness may be true. PM says, Brolena, yes. Yamana says, let's get the likes up. You all welcome, welcome. Get the likes up. Amanda Jane in the building. Hey, girl. Hey. Says, hey, Chic, I'm late for class. What did I miss, child? You missed a whole damn lot. I'm getting into this Kim Lost Word books. We all know that Diddy is a mother effort. So we getting into this book. You know, we started out this show tonight listening to Gloria Allred do a press conference with her new client who's suing Diddy for essaying her in 2001. So yes, so that's how we started this show. Tonight's live was supposed to be focused strictly on the Kim Lost reviewing, doing a live read on Kim Lost Words book. But child, we had to switch gears. We had to go ahead and see what the hell Gloria had to say first. And then we jumped into Kim's Lost Words. So right now, you know, some people are saying this book is fake. Some people saying it's real. I want to get into this book so you all can form your opinions. And based off of the things that's been said in this book, I wanted you all to bump that up against some of the things you've heard people in the industry say about him. Even tonight, as we reviewed the press conference with the woman Talia Graves, who said P. Diddy and his bodyguard essayed her back in 2001, child. So far, let me know, what are your thoughts on this book? Do you feel like it's made up? Do you feel like it's plausible? Are you like, no, his motherfucker, he did it? Or like, let me know what you think. Ariane says the whole thing, hashtag no Diddy. Amanda says, I thought you removed me as a moderator as you on your other channel. I was like, no, not Sheik as well. No, let me see. No, it didn't change, Amanda. It didn't change over. I have to do this a whole new channel, so I have to do just new settings or whatever. So this ain't got nothing to do with the other channel. So, child, you good? I had to start from scratch over here with this channel. So let's get into this book, chapter 9, going back to Cali, going back to Cali. I don't think so. So, chapter 9, going back to Cali. We had a wild night. It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everyone was there, and we not only had threesomes, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would never have been able to do with a straight man. Sean cared about me, but it was becoming more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was there more to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. He was like Caesar, every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with it. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pinkett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom with X. So she didn't say that this person's name, but she said he was coming out of the bedroom with X and Will Smith. So I kind of get as sometimes where I will see X, I'm like, what makes her feel confident to say some people's names versus other? Because Will Smith is a huge name. Jamie Foxx is a huge name, but whoever this X name is, it's like she didn't want to say the name, but there was a threesome encounter with this X person and Will Smith. So she says, yes, X attended the parties from time to time. I'm wondering did she not name politicians or something in it? Because if she named, artists in it, I don't know. It's just, I just can't help but to wonder, why she chooses to not name certain people. So she goes on to say, yes, X attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will kind of snuggled up on the bed together. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room. I didn't really like X. Sean smiled when he saw me. Good morning. Here at the orgies, he wasn't very affectionate. He didn't have to pretend, but he couldn't walk straight. I knew how his ass felt, literally. We've had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him, I'm getting ready to go. He responded, let's have a cup of coffee first. This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I didn't really have a choice. He was becoming more more violent when he didn't get his way, when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight. So I sat down. Before we started talking, X came out of the room. Sean was wearing boxers. X was in his birthday suit. X addressed us morning. When he turned around in order to close the door, there was a dried cum stain on his back. X walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Sean stretched, smiled, and said, the East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous. X responded, surprised. Business first thing in the morning. Damn, cuz you want it. But you don't got nothing to worry about. You got to pass, daddy. X smiled coyly. Sean apparently had something to talk about with X as well, because he says, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent X was taken aback by his turn of events, by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued, it's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't get 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What did Sean want from me? This morning is turning out to be way more than I expected, and I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, X apparently wanted clarity. So to be clear, if something happened, X made quotation marks with his fingers to one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it would be considered he makes another set of quotation marks out of your control. Is that what you're saying? Wait a minute. Can they be talking about Biggie? Excuse me. Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hungover to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older, wiser me understands now what I did not comprehend all those years ago. Sean was just getting to the real reason that had X there. The real reason he had X there. The world was about to lose Biggie. X laughed. You a cold mother effer. Sean says, why the F should I protect someone that isn't going to stick around? I made him. That nigga should be worshiping the ground I effing walk on. I was thinking Sean's ego is rearing its ugly head, and I wanted to get out of there. But instincts told me I need to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any part of this, not even implicitly. But I was just dragged into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, will I be held as an accomplice? But even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but Sean, he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt, as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I am not killing anyone, but I am not protecting somebody that doesn't have my back 150%. F that. This was railing out of control. My mind began to race. Is there a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. You put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw away all that money? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting really was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off of his death will blow away all the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, he continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculated monster. X chimes in. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Biggie dead too. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Biggie is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything else about it. Sean smiles, stands to walk over to a safe behind a picture. There he pulls out a bag marked X's name. He turns to X and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me? Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. X smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure to have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to get to Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me, responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss from me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, God. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, God. Thank God. X always with something to say. I'd love to meet little types sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy treats me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Child, Kim was in deep. She was in deep. What they say is a such thing as staying too long. She stayed a long time. Who do y'all think X was? Who do y'all think X was? Wow, that was crazy. Peeing in the pictures. Yep. Ariane says the whole thing. Let me see. PM says, OMG, if this fool was gay, why didn't he just be that? Right. Brolena says, not every man's woman. That's what she said. PM said, or Bishop. Listen, she for some reason didn't name who that other person was. So I'm like, who's bigger than like Jay-Z, Jamie Foxx? Like she was naming names, but there's some people whose names she just would not name. Lena says that PM always thought he was gay ever since I was a little girl back in the 90s. And did anybody else get that feeling? PM says how he was walking. Listen, she says she know that walk because shit, I guess she had that walk too before because she said they used to play with each other's anal cavity. Right. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Chapter 10, the lies you tell. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while, and we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked up anyway. Hi, Sean. He sounded trepidatious as he said, we've been broke up for a while this time. Yeah, he continued. I don't want anyone to know about my, he paused to search for the word, proclivities, I replied. So you don't want people to know about you being gay? Sean exploded. See, that's why I effing lose control on you. So I just plainly stated, goodbye, Sean. Wait, he screamed. What, Sean? I'm sorry, okay? You're always effing sorry. He took a deep breath. I have to do something to cover myself. I sighed. Do whatever you effing want, Sean. When you see this in the news, it's not real. This made me calm down a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued, I'm only doing it for press. Doing what, Sean? After a long pause, he continued, she knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me. Sean, what the hell are you talking about? Another pause. Publicity. I am going to be dating someone else, a video girl. I laughed. Why would you do that? I have to cover myself. I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than at him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to a video vixen in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Did he prefer them light-skinned, big butt girls from videos? I calmed myself. No, I know he likes men any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, why the hell are you telling me? He signed, I wanted you to find out for me first. Like I give a shit. He came at me with his favorite line. You know I love you. It was getting old. I could only think to myself, here we go. Love is big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating someone else. I replied, I don't hit people. You don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt. He sucked his teeth as he responded, come on. Are you serious? That shit's for children. We aren't effing high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hit you if I didn't. Wait, that sounded wrong. You said what you meant. He took a breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. Kim, no one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me. I wanted to say, is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs? But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, you say that while you're dating some other bitch. That's just for public. I was done. It could be heard in my voice as I said, whatever, Sean, do what you need to do. Leave me alone. I'm never giving up on us, he cried. I responded to that emotional control attempt with the little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe words that came. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him, he threw out. His emotional manipulation was really driving me crazy. This time I said with much more conviction, goodbye, Sean. I hung up. Manipulative bastard. He be playing games, y'all. He be playing games. Amanda, they took my Tupac and DMX best rapping to date. Yes, best rappers to date. They did. It's sad, but yeah. Ariane says to Kim to be so slim, she take a lot of hits for Diddy. Wow, the things. Yeah. PM says, no, Brolane, I never got that thought until 50 Cent said Diddy was gay. Yeah, I saw Kim Porter in person. She's super tiny. I saw her in person years ago It was probably in 2004. So I live in Georgia. So, in Atlanta and Georgia, a lot of celebrities, people live here. And she was inside of a shopping mall that I was in my community. And I can't remember if I first took notice of her on my own or if I heard people whispering that that's who she was, because she was just really tiny. Just think about like her girls, how really tiny they are. That's kind of how tiny she was. And just when I say just a beautiful person, like I think the thing that stood out to me was just how she was just a natural beauty. Y'all, that 2001 was an era where people wasn't into like lace fronts and all that. It was more of like a natural aesthetic that a lot of people had going on during that time. And so she just had, her natural hair. She was dressed really casual and no makeup. She just looked like just a regular girl that you would just see in your community. But I just thought that she just looked beautiful. What else? And then the store I was in, it wasn't even a high-end store. It was just one of those like just a really cheap type store. I was just in there. I think I was pregnant at the time, and I think I was in there shopping for like some sweatpants or something, because I remember the rack of clothes she was looking on was the same one I was looking on. I think we both had picked up the same pair of like a banana or pale yellow pair of sweatpants, like just pants. But y'all, like it was not no high end store. Child, I was in that goddamn store, so y'all know it wasn't goddamn high end. It was just like a little store, like where you can find items for $6, $12. Like y'all know those little feminine, little cutesy little stores. That's what she was in, and just browsing. She was by herself, no security, just dressing just as normal and just plain. But yes, I just thought she was just so beautiful, just a natural beauty. So to me, I always felt like she looked better in person than what I saw on this TV, with her just glammed up with all the makeup and stuff. She was just a natural beauty. So I got to thinking about that over the weekend when I was ordering her book, about the time where I saw her in person. So there was a point where I would just see celebrities like all the time, just in my community, because a lot of them live here locally. So in this area where I saw her, it was an area that's known where a lot of celebrities kind of live in that area. My job at the time was in that area. But child, yeah, she was just a regular woman by herself, just shopping. And so when I think back to this time of when this would have been, it would have been like 2004. So I don't know what her situation was or what year. I think she got with him in the early 90s. So this would have been probably right before she probably maybe had Christian, but she was by herself, no kids. So it's definitely well before the twins. But I'm really thinking, when I think about the timeline, I'm thinking it was even before she had Christian. I think like this, how far back it goes. So as we see in this book, her and Diddy were like always on again, off again. So I don't know if maybe they were on and off again. She is from Georgia. She's from Savannah, Georgia. So that's about 3.5 hours away from where I live, from like the metro Atlanta area. So it's a nice little distance. So she clearly was kind of, I guess, residing in the area that I was in, because it was a far away from Savannah. But yeah, she was just, by herself, just no security, just like a normal person or whatever. But just beautiful woman. Just beautiful woman. So I always remember that. I always just remember that. Ariane says, I just never look at Diddy like that. What did Kim see in him? Money, power, fame. Amanda says, I could not be with a man like that and partake in them activities, and then for him to demand I must still respect him and treat him like a man when he act like a bee. I knew he was gay. Listen, he had a secret to keep, and he knew that she knew where all the bodies were buried. Brolena said, and then he made that song with Faith Evans, I'll be missing you. Child, the audacity. That's when you know you dealing with a sociopath. Ariana says, was Kim father in her life because I'm lost? I don't even know a lot about Kim's parents, her background. As of late, I thought I heard someone say that Diddy had a relationship with her father. And so I think it was almost like he was just throwing money at the parents to get them to kind of turn the eye to their treatment to their child. So this is as of late where I've heard talks about Kim Porter's father. But up until then, I'd never heard any talk about any like siblings, any family of hers. So I'm not even sure if she has any siblings. Lana says, "Oh shoot, is this J Lo?" As I was reading that part, I was wondering if yes, because I didn't get the sense based on the timeline that it was Cassie, but he referred to her as being like a video girl. But at the time, I thought when Diddy and her started hooking up, J Lo was already on the scene as an artist. So the fact that he called her just like some like video girl, I mean, to me, my memory was them hooking up when she kind of was newly on the scene as an artist. But yeah, I don't feel like that was Cassie at that point. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Brolena. PM says, Ariana, I believe so. PM says, Kim kept all that stuff a secret. It's a lot. Brolena says, J-Lo steps in the picture. Yes. Amanda says, in the words of the late Tina Turner, was love got to do with it, child? Brolena says, I wouldn't hit you equals if I didn't love you. How many times like we've heard that, or I personally can honestly say I've never heard that, praise God, but so many people who've been a victim of abuse have heard that. Words you don't ever want to hear. Words you do not ever want to hear. Amanda says Gene Deal ex bodyguard be saying about going to sex shops and P. Diddy bought the butt plugs. Wow. Brolanda says, yep, I saw her at Lenox Square in Buckhead. She was very elegant, looked like a runway model. Yeah, she was just, y'all, like, she was just like a natural beauty. Like, I just remember that, like, thinking like, wow, she's just beautiful. She was just beautiful, just doing, mind her business. Very, very. And I think I was pregnant at the time because I'm normally, super small. So when going into my pregnancy, I was at that point like 130 pounds. When I met my husband, maybe like a year after high school, I met him and I was like 102 pounds. So she was tiny, like what I was like when I met my husband, like at 19 going on 20. But she was super tiny. I would also put her in the description too of her like a black version of Cassie. As I think about that day, like Cassie, like as far as how their body types are, they kind of have like the long torso. They both have a very similar body type. So I don't know if he likes them small, petite, if maybe that's the way for him to feel like he's in control, because he's not a big guy, or he's bigger now as he's older. But back then he was more of a small frame, like how we see Christian's body is. Christian's super tiny, but I seen the similarities between her when I just think back to the past, her and Cassie, as far as what their bodies look like. I would think that because a lot of times they say people on TV, they look like 10 pounds heavier than what they really are. And she was tiny. So I'm thinking that probably in person, Cassie and her bodies are like very, very similar in like size and frame. She also wasn't tall either. I don't know how tall Kim Porter is, but she wasn't tall. She had like a kind of, like I said, like a long torso, slender body. To me, her girls look taller than her when I see them in photos. She wasn't that tall, but she had a very long, slender body. I do remember that, but very beautiful, very beautiful. Ariane said, was Kim on drugs? Because how can she know all that about him and still be with him and have more kids with him? It's not that much love in the world to be with him. Who knows? We'll get back into this book and we'll see what else she shares in this book, because allegedly these are Kim's lost words, child. We don't know. Allegedly these are her lost words. We're on chapter 11, Mo Problems. For a while, I was actually happy to see Sean gone. I was getting older and the sex parties were out of control. It was getting time for me to slow down. Quincy was getting older. I knew that if I kept going, the rumors circulating were going to eventually find a way to get back to him. What will he think of me? Chris is about to take his trip to California. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen out there, but I felt like Tiana Wallace was about to be an orphan. I knew I didn't want any ties to that. As I was sitting there contemplating all of this in my robe, sipping my wine on this Friday evening, my doorbell rings. I was not expecting company. I opened the door and found Sean. My heart skipped a beat. I was shocked, but recovered quickly. I forced a smile and told him with a slightly slurred speech, hey, come on in. Shit, I am way more intoxicated than I thought. Sean entered, looking around suspiciously, then turned to me and smiled, saying, "You haven't been returning my calls. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." "I'm fine." He obviously was not here out of concern. He was checking to see who was here. Sean was controlling like that. Yes, even though we were not together, he was dating someone else. He started to make his way to the living room. I attempted to put a quick end to the visit, but it came out a little more directly than I intended. "So since you can see I'm fine, you can let me go to bed now." Part of me wanted him to stay. As he entered the living room, I was forced to follow Sean. I was forced to follow. Sean was very direct with his next inquiry. "Is someone else waiting for you?" "No, but Sean, we're not together." "You're dating someone else." "I can fuck whoever I choose." With this, Sean became irate. He fiercely slapped me to the ground, then pulled out a 22 and sat it on the end table. He turned to me calmly. I was scared. My voice quivered as I pled to him, "Sean, please stop. Quincy is here." How did we get here? How did we get to this point that he was in my living room threatening me with a gun? He knelt on one knee and got right in my face to say, "You're mine. You don't have a choice in that now. I can't live without you." He stood up, composing himself. I was terrified as I whimpered, "Sean, that's not love." Sean picked up his gun and cocked it. He looked at me almost thoughtfully and asked, "Have you ever heard, if I can't have you, no one can?" "Sean, please don't. Please, Quincy will hear." Sean smiled, put the gun away, saying, "Oh, this is just for dramatic effect. I would never shoot you. If I was going to kill you, no one would trace it to me. You know how many people I had to take care of over the years. It would be quiet, something in your food or drink, something that would never get back to me. I wouldn't shoot you. You understand?" I could only nod, tears flowing down my cheeks. He looked at me thoughtfully as he reached down to help me up. I could do nothing but agree. He's a terrifying monster. Now he wanted to smooth it over, and I had to go along with it. What else could I do? "Listen, baby, I don't ever want to hurt you. You know I really love you, or I would have moved on. Thinking about living my life without you is just too hard. If someone ever tried to hurt you, I would kill them. My back hurt. My back hurt from where I hit it on the table when he shoved me." All I could do as he helped me up was nod that I understood through my streaming tears, which he wiped. He looked towards Quincy's room. "Let me say goodnight." "No, Sean, please." Thinking quickly, "He has to get up in the morning." Sean looked at me with an unreadable look. He was studying me. "Okay, I'm going to go." Nervously, I walked into the front door. This is over. Thank God." He kissed me. I didn't want him to touch me, but I couldn't refuse. "Kiss Quinn for me." I tried to keep my composure as I replied, "Sure, Sean." He opened the door to leave. The bodyguard that was waiting outside escorted him to the car. This was far worse than I realized. Why would he need a bodyguard at my front door? How was he anticipating this to go? After I shut the door, I had another drink. For tonight, the nightmare was over. I sipped on my wine and cried. The next few days, he sent dozens of flowers. He brought Quincy expensive gifts, expensive toys. He didn't want me. He wanted me to keep his secret. I'm trapped. He has the authorities under his thumb. I can't go to them. This is like a gangster movie. How high up does this go? How far is his reach? The FBI, the CIA, who is not corrupt or won't get silenced by their upper chain of command. How can anyone help me and my child? He found his way back in my bed. I had no choice. Child, that woman was going through it. It ain't enough money in the world. It is not enough money in the world. Rolena says, "I never got to see my childhood crush, Andre 3000, but a lot of those celebrities shop in that area." Yep. You see a lot of them at the popular Lenox Mall. He's someone I didn't see. I never saw him, but I did see. Did I see? Trying to think. Did I didn't see Usher. My church, the church prior to the pandemic, I belonged to. Montel Jordan, the singer. He went to my church. He was over our music ministry, so I saw him regularly. Him and his wife and his children. Ariane says that relationship was bad. Did he have anything on Whitney and Bobby? Brolena says no. J-Lo was in Living Color. Fly girl. VP says the father admitted this year how he allowed Diddy to hit his daughter. Is not that much money in the world that I take to let someone treat my baby like that. Her father was a part of the problem. Wow. There you go. PM says, whoa, so many people he had to take care of over the years. That's what he said. Ariane says, so sad. R.I.P. Kim. If only she would have walked away. It's like, I mean, it's rooted in just self-esteem. Like a lot of times the most beautiful people have the lowest self-esteem. It be like that. Like what you see, and you can see something in someone else that they don't see in themselves. Unfortunately, that's the story for far too many people. Brolena said authorities under his thumb since 2000s. Wow, yeah. Chapter 12, A Mama's Love. The calamity that ensued behind the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. It was his friend. Though they were not nearly as close as Sean would have the public to believe, but still, as far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having an on and off again relationship of a normal couple, and I probably just seemed like a money-hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to not having a choice. Today, I recognize it for what it is, Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. That is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night, I was out with my boyfriend. Yes, we were on again, and we were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace spoke with a smile. Hello, Sean. Hi, Kim. I smiled the best I could. What a situation. For all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, hi, Miss Wallace. Sean smiled also as he said, hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you? When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation of my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you can send me some of the money Chris made with you this way. Sean shook his head. That's not something I can do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to just get past the hump? Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take? Sean signed as he replied, these things are difficult, Miss Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy. Miss Wallace pushed further. I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it? Sean shook his head as if saddened by what he was saying as he continued. It's not like I can just give you his money. You're entitled to certain amounts, and they are just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me just to give you tons of money. You got rich off my son, and now you're keeping all his money? Sean kept his cool as he replied, I'm afraid business isn't that cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I pay for his publishing, publicity. I mean, in all actuality, if I am going to be straightforward, Miss Wallace, Chris probably owed me money. I won't know until it's all worked out. The anger in Miss Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified as she uttered the only word she could muster. You bastard. Sean didn't flinch. He just says, look at the contract. I am honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it. but I have investors. I can't just take money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away. Miss Wallet exploded in response. You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damn thing. Sean stared her straight in the eye unwaveringly and said he would have started making a profit after a few years. His money until his album sales paid for studio time, music videos, publishing, and marketing would have come from doing shows. I'm sorry, he isn't here to make that money. I miss him. Her response was deadpan. Did you kill my son? Momentarily, Sean was stunned into silence. She asked again, her voice quivering. Did you? He started, Miss Wallace. She would not be redirected. Answer the question. I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. No, of course not. She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine as she replied with a menace only a mother can. I don't believe you, Sean. Sean looked at her with a sadness that I knew in my soul to be fake, although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him as he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today, I know he was able to muster that false sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then, I thought it was compassion. With no more words, Miss Wallace stood up and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief. Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real if she goes public with her accusations. Sean's image would be damaged. I have felt for myself the extents he will go through in order to protect that image. So, child, he has no, there's no limits to how far he'll go for what it is that he wants. I mean, it's just the sad reality of it. Very scary. Very scary. But that's what we're coming to see. Let me see where I left off in his comments. PM says, whoa, so many people you have to take care of over the years. Ariane said, so sad, Kim. If only she would have walked away. Let me see. Brolena says authorities under his thumb. Stockholm syndrome. I was going to say, but that's what she called it. She stayed far too long. Yes, Iman. Yep. So such thing as staying too long. And the longer you stay, especially in a toxic situation where there's abuse, the longer you stay, there's that stronger emotional tie that's developed. So unfortunately, it just seems like more often than not, people stay too long. And then they stay so long to where they don't see a way out. And then when they do try to leave, then you all know how that story ends. England in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are just reviewing Kim's book, Lost Words. Please like, share, and subscribe. Welcome to you, those of you who are new to my channel. I am Chic, and we are reviewing the book, Kim's Lost Words, and getting into these words and what allegedly she had to say in her days leading up to her untimely demise. Brolena said the fact that she knew he was a sociopath and couldn't walk away, so sad. Yeah, it's that mental hold. A lot of times, like when someone gets you psychologically, that's just, you ever heard of people talk about the mental abuse can be far worse than like the physical, because the bruises and things can heal. But when somebody has you in the chokehold mentally, like they can be miles away and you still feel like you still can't run and go do something. Because as you see, she had her own house. Like she wasn't underneath the roof of him all the time. So she had her space away from him, but she still chose to stay for what we're coming to read from what she says, out of fear. And keep in mind, you all, in this book, as we're reading up to now, this is before she had children with him. So they were together, when I did the math, a good probably about 6-7 years before she even, had Christian. So she was for a while. So chapter 13, have some faith. The fact of the matter is Sean was a complete control freak. He was absolutely the worst. But of all things he did for control, this might be one of the most despicable ones. We were in the bad boy office one evening, sitting in the lounge area enjoying a meal. Sean was smoking one of those big cigars he liked when Faith entered and sat down with us. She seemed relaxed as she said, "Hey guys." I smiled. I never had any bad vibes from the marvelous Faith Evans. She never talked about the wild time the three of us shared at one of Sean's parties. I gave her a hug. "Hey girl, what's up?" Sean smiled and asked, "Hey, what brings you?" She addressed Sean saying, "Look, when you asked me to hook up with Chris, I understood you needed to control him. I felt honored that you would choose me to monitor one of your most valuable assets. Chris is sweet." Sean laughed and said, "Honestly, I knew you would be good. Make the big man feel loved." "I don't feel good about all of this, Sean." Sean got that look in his eyes he gets before he blows his top. Faith saw also. She treaded carefully. "Sean, you know I'm as loyal as they come." Sean leaned forward, unintentionally threatening, and said in a low tone, "Yeah, but Sean, Chris and I had a child together." Sean leaned back. He let out a deep breath. "I'm going to take care of you. You're not like Chris. You're loyal." Faith had a tear in her eye as she responded, "He didn't have to die. This is getting very touchy." Did she know? How did she suspect? Was this her trying to find out if Sean intentionally killed Biggie? I wanted to ask, but of course there was no way of doing that. "This is so crazy." Sean sighed and replied, "He did it. Don't get me wrong. I miss him, but he was leaving me anyway. No one cares about my pain." Classic narcissistic Sean. It's all about him. I was sickened for a moment, but his next sentence made me feel for him anyway. I wanted to share all this with him. He was my man. Faith couldn't hide the anger that flared in her eyes, but she knew who she was talking to. She was careful as she spoke. "Sean, you have your friends. You share things with." Sean sat forward again, this time with malicious intentions as he queried, "The fuck is that supposed to mean? Chris had no one, only you." Sean lost it. "That fat fuck, the only other piece of shit I had you fuck," I interjected while in shock. "You had her fuck Pac?" Sean glared at me as he answered, "Yes, fucking Pac. Those motherfuckers were going to try to start their own label and compete with me. Me, after all I did, that fat fuck. No, I wasn't using resources to protect that mother effer. No effing way." As Faith started to cry, Sean looked at her and softened slightly. He spoke a little calmer. "Look, I didn't hate him. I was hurt, but I didn't hate him. I'll make sure you and CJ are taken care of." Without words, Faith got up to leave. As she turned, Sean spoke softly. "Faith." She ignored him. He called to her again. "Faith." She exited quickly. Soon, Sean just looked at me and said, "Damn, I really didn't know what to say." Sean just told Faith that he wouldn't protect her husband because he was going to leave Bad Boy. From a business perspective, I didn't disagree with Sean. If you're leaving and creating competition for him, why would he spend resources on you? So I hugged him. I also knew he didn't have to send Chris to California. I wondered if he realized that he sentenced him to death. He hugged me back with tears in his eyes and he asked, "How the fuck am I the bad guy, huh? I fucking do nothing but bust my ass to make everyone live comfortably, and I'm supposed to just let niggas walk all over me?" As I held him in a comforting embrace, I replied, "No, baby." He took me right there on the couch. Like I said, Stockholm syndrome. So she done damn up here, Colin holding on him, making him feel better about life as he tell this woman or try his best to justify taking this woman's husband away from her. And she Kim hugging him, showing empathy and all of that. And as she says, true Stockholm syndrome. So Kim definitely wasn't one I would say that was in denial about things. It's just she just moved according to how she felt was best fitting for her, regardless on what the fallout was. She was prioritizing herself, her safety, her needs, her son, like that came first. That came first. Yeah. Brolena says Faith Evans was sent to Biggie to control him. That's what Kim's lost words are, right? Amanda says poor Biggie, he loved Lil Kim and chose Faith Evans. My. Yep. It's interesting. It's a lot, very deep. Again, this book is questionable. People are questioning the validity of it. I personally, at this point, I don't really have an opinion as to whether it's true or not. I mean, I feel like everything that I'm reading is plausible from who we've come to learn this man is. He's a monster, and these things that in this book is being described about his behaviors is monstrous. So it's definitely believable. It's definitely, but you all let me know. Do you all believe that these are Kim lost words and these events actually happened? What I will say, I think recently, I'll be sure went on record to say that everything in the book was pretty much true, except for the story about him hooking up with P. Diddy. My, how everything you can stand by except for that part. So that's what supposedly like he came out saying, like, okay, all that other stuff, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. But this part right here about me and Diddy, no, that's not true. That's not true. But he is saying, yes, her devices and things like that she had, that has been handed over to the authorities. So, child, it's just things have just been coming out just by the day. And I've been trying my best to kind of keep up with this along, with other things. Y'all know I'm holding down 2 channels these days. Your girl is working. Make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. But y'all, I've been working. Brolena said, this is why I'd rather not know musicians' personal lives. All these songs mean nothing now. PN says, I believe it. I believe the book is true. So next chapter. So chapter 14, Outshine. So Outshine. This particular evening, I was at Sean's house and Quincy was staying with a friend. It was some alone time for Sean and I until the doorbell rang and Sean got up to answer it. I heard a woman yelling and quickly realized that it was Jennifer Lopez, or better known to the world as J-Lo. Sean, what the fuck? She blasted. Sean responded calmly, relax, baby. Why the hell did you have to start shooting? Isn't that what we have bodyguards for? Normally when these kinds of situations arise, I remain quiet and just listen. I play my position, you could say, but I wasn't paying attention to the news for the last day or so. And even though it would be the only thing anyone would talk to me about for months, no one had spoken to me about it yet. So I entered the foyer asking, what's going on? Jennifer exploded at me. What's going on? What's going on? This nigga shut up a damn club. My jaw dropped, looking back and forth between the two. Sean spoke soothingly. Jen, you got to calm down. Jennifer was having none of it. She continued, calm down, calm down. You shot a bunch of innocent people, Sean. Sean placed his hand on her forearm. It's a bonding technique. He was shrewd in handling her. He does this to me too. Even if you know what's happening, it works. It's an intimate contact. It's an intimate contact without being personal. He was aiming to disarm her. This did not seem to immediately sway Jennifer as she continued. Why in the hell do you think Biggie's replacement will take the fall for you? Biggie's replacement? Wait, could she be talking about I had to know. Are you talking about Shine? Jennifer didn't even look at me as she responded, yes, fucking Shine. Sean continued with a calm and even voice. Relax. The situation is under control. Jennifer was not calming down. She went on. They contacted my attorney for my statement, and there are a lot of witnesses, Sean. There is no way you're going to get away with this. Sean's arrogance can be immersible at times. He laughed as he asked, you doubting me? I couldn't believe it. I had to know. Sean, what could you offer him that would make him to do a bid for you? Like, what the fuck? Jennifer also remarked. And what if he falters halfway through his sentence and starts talking? Sean responded as calmly as ever. He won't do that. People in jail don't cross-connected people on the outside. Jennifer looked deflated. So you'll kill him too? How much does she know? Look, I'm not going to threaten anyone. Sean is smart and loyal. He knows how it works, and when he gets out, he'll be well taken care of. Jennifer spoke defiantly. Sean, they want to question me. I am not perjuring myself. I am not going to jail over this. Sean seemed so in control. I admired him for it at this point, but my spirit was broken. I felt bad for Jennifer. She catches one bad break after another, and this was really a really bad break. Sean spoke with confidence. Relax, come in and have a drink. Have your lawyers call mine. You'll never see the witness stand. I promise. Jennifer wasn't so sure. She asked him, how can you possibly know that? Sean smiled as he replied, between Sean's confession and the witnesses that gave their accounts, the cops won't need much. The statement from your lawyer will be fine. Jennifer's next concern popped up. She explained, my attorney, Sean, he's good, but he won't do this. Beaming with confidence, the way only a man with his net worth can, Sean responded, sure he will. Jennifer shook her head defiantly as she responded, Sean, you don't know him. Sean's unbreakable confidence was ruling the day. Jennifer was giving in as he told her with a smile, I got this. Sean, are you sure? Sean gave a wink. My attorneys handle situations. Give him my number too. Jennifer seemed leery as she asked, you're not going to threaten my attorney? You're not going to threaten my attorney? Sean laughed as he replied, no, of course not. Money talks, baby. He turned to me and said, take her inside and pour her a drink. I had a question of my own, but you were going to make Sean the label's go-to man? What are you going to do now? Sean looked disappointed as he responded. He had the voice, but his flow, he signed, well, artists with his talent are a dime a dozen. Looking at Jen, he continued, it's not a once in a lifetime find like Jennifer Lopez. Now he's throwing on a charm. Despite the situation, he blushed slightly. Sean continued, let's grab that drink. Let me handle this with this attorney situation. Relax, don't worry. We left the foyer, went to have a seat in the living room. He tried to make a threesome happen that night. It didn't work out. Not that day. So apparently, I guess they had threesome. It didn't work out that night, but it seems like she's saying that, they have had threesomes together. Diddy, Kim Porter, and J-Lo. Kim Porter was just like, listen, whatever, anything goes. She was with the shits, like she was with it. It was almost like she got to a point to where she was just complacent. It seemed like with the sexual acts and activities, she enjoyed that. It seemed like she didn't enjoy the abuse and the control with him trying to control who she can have in her bed without him. But aside from that, it seemed like she was just here for the shits. Brolana says, yet word is the threesomes happened other days. It just seemed like she just was just here for her. She just wished he wasn't putting his hands on her and he wasn't controlling. But otherwise, as far as like the threesomes, sleeping with these different people, like she was here for it. One thing I noticed, like I said, like last week when they had the raid, they found baby oil, lubricants, but there was no talks of condoms being found. So like my thing is like the STDs. Y'all remember that white man that came out a couple of years ago and said that he had caught an STD from Diddy's freak offs. Like there was no mention of, like, in this book so far, she hasn't mentioned anything about contraceptives. So it's just like, what about pregnancies? How many babies have been born from this situation, or abortions? Like if you're not using protection, like people get pregnant. Like what's the deal with that? We haven't heard any talks about pregnancies up until this point. So Rolana says, oh, I meant J-Lo too. Amanda says, and Shine took the rap for that one, club shooting, and he sure did. Blessed Up says, hi all, he's straight up guilty. His dark side has finally caught up with him, and no money in hell can get him out of the hole he's dug over the years. Nope. He's having his day. He's having his day. Give me one moment. You all need to take a little break. I will be back. Please, as I take a little break, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know. Do you believe these are truly Kim's lost words? These are her words. It's on the internet. You know, yeah, a lot of people are saying no, it's false, and you got some people are like, nah, them her words. I believe it. Let me know your thoughts on this. But please like, share, and subscribe. And when I come back, we will get back through this. Actually, you all, we are nearing the end, so we'll get through this book. So stay tuned. All right, I am back. Intermission is over. We are back getting into the Kim Lost Words book. Whoo, child. Let me see. And are you in here? Let me see. What my likes looking like, y'all. Y'all doing me right on the likes? Thank you all for joining. Let me see. That is hold on one moment. As a moderator. Okay. There we go. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Whoo, child. It's a lot. But everything's coming to the light. What they say was done in the dark come out in the light. So that's where we're at. 45 likes. Thank you, PM. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you all. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get back to it. Chapter 15, Queen Bitch. Kimora Simmons and I went to have drinks. She was looking at me seductively, and I was turned on. We were going to go back to my place afterwards. But suddenly, after a sip of my drink, I felt like I had to vomit. I excused myself and barely made it to the ladies' room. When I came back, Kimora asked, "You feeling okay?" "I'm fine. I have been under the weather the last couple of days. I think I'll head home," she said. Your breasts are looking kind of plump there, girl." Embarrassed, I whispered, "Not in public." She replied simply, Are you pregnant? I was taken completely aback. "Why the hell would you say that?" She let it sit there for a minute. I bet in her head she was like, wait for it. Then it hit me. Shit, she gave me a minute before continuing. "So what you going to do?" I didn't understand. Going to do? If it's not Sean's, fuck if it is. With the shock wearing off, the scope of the situation began to take hold. I responded, "I better get a test." She looked at me with pity. "Damn, girl, good luck. After what he did to Chris, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes." The desire that was in her eyes before I got sick was all but gone. As I began to stand, I realized what she said to me, and I paused. She looked at me flatly and said, "Ain't nobody stupid, girl." I didn't know what to say. The question still lingered in my mind despite everything I knew. Did Puffy intentionally kill Chris? She thought to me, did Puffy intentionally kill Chris? She brought me back to the moment by saying, "Go." Not knowing what else to say, but knowing I had to deal with my situation right now, I replied, I'll hit you up." She sighed and simply repeated, "Good luck." Chapter 16, Christian. The next day, I was sitting on my couch, deep in thought, when the doorbell rang. I went to let Sean in. This was going to be scary. We made our way back to the living room where we sat down. Quincy was asleep. Sean seemed legitimately concerned. What's so urgent? I didn't know what else to do. I just blurted out, I'm pregnant. The air in the room was just as thick as J-Lo. He was quiet. What is he thinking? He asked the obvious question, are you sure? I spoke rapidly. I was on the pill. I'll get rid of it. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know. That's wonderful. This is great. I was so confused. Huh? You're not mad? He laughed. Mad? No. Why would I be mad at this wonderful news? I'm going to be a dad. And with the woman I love bearing my child. What could possibly be better? He jumped right up on the phone and called one of his besties. I could hear Will Smith congratulating him. Sean said, yeah, definitely. Hold on, Kim, baby. I was still in awe of the fact that he didn't get angry. And yes, I will admit, I was sure he was going to hit me. It was with relief when I replied, yes. He told me excitedly, we got to have a party. His excitement was contagious. I was getting really excited too. Yes, a gender reveal. And he cut me off. Yes, of course, we're going to do all of that. But everyone is going to want to sleep with you right before you give birth. My heart sank in my chest. Everybody is going to want to what? Sean went on with some excitement. Well, not everybody, you know. Will, Jada, X. Sean, I'm having your baby. He verbally waved me off. It'll be fine. I couldn't help myself. I just started crying. Sean grew quiet on the phone, then spoke low. I'll call you back. He hung up and took me by my hand. Baby, I never asked anything from you. I tried to see him through the tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. I tried to speak. Sean, he cut me off. I provide everything anyone could ever want. Do you want for anything? Sobbing, I replied, no, but he continued. This is the kind of thing I have to do in order to continue giving you this comfortable lifestyle where you live in the lap of luxury and get to be on TV shows and movies. I know you don't want this, but do you want all this to go away? A whimper is all I could manage. No, he continued softly. Then we got to do this. I said, but Sean, I don't believe in all this spiritual crazy shit. We got here because you're brilliant, not because of sex parties. He replied, do you trust me? I did. My soul was broken. I did, I responded. Yes, he sighed as he said, then let's do what we need to do to keep what we have. As I nodded yes, he pulled me in to hug me. Thank you, baby. We are going to have a beautiful baby. He ordered me some food, and that night I cried myself to sleep. I was going to be gang banged at 9 months pregnant. I want my children out of this life. My child's going to have a good biblical name, a heavy Christian name. They are not going to take his soul. So yes, she told him she was pregnant. He was like, okay, well, the way we're going to celebrate, we're going to have let the people run a train on you, because this is, this is what we do. People get excited. I don't know if it's a ritual, the energy harvesting, something about a woman and then her carrying life. First person he called to speak to was Will Smith, allegedly. So he was like, listen, I need for you to take one to the team. As we talked about, as people wonder, how was she able to stay so long? And he'd hold it up over her head, the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Like, she's like, shit, it's a lifestyle. Thank you so much, love. Hey, Amanda, you're welcome. PM says, glad, because he thought that was covering up his gay secret. He was excited. Blessed us said, all of those people are very dark in Hollywood. I've learned long ago to not follow or idolize them all. All of them have demonic soul ties to one another. I will say it was my first time hearing about, as far as with the whole pregnancy thing, how he wanted, people to, have sex with, how it was a thing to have sex with her while she was pregnant before, I'd never heard of anything like that pertaining to like a pregnant woman and then having sex with like a different number of people. So that one kind of had me to clutch my invisible pearls. Let me see. Blessed Stuff said, all those people are very dark in Hollywood. I've learned long ago not to follow, idolize them. Let me see. PM says, well, I guess Will Smith must not know his name is in the book. Blessed Up says, she didn't die in vain because she was able to tell all. Brolena says, she said something about not believing in his spiritualish. Does she mean soul ties with other celebrities? Interesting. So, chapter 17, broken promises. Please, as you come on in, please like, share, and subscribe. Chapter 17, broken promises. I don't know how this managed to stay out of the media for so long. But Sean got to the point where he was incredibly abusive and only his inner circle knew about it. The artists were all too afraid of him to say anything. He had gained so much power, no one would say anything. Puff Daddy was a kingpin. This Monday afternoon, Quincy was in school, and our son Christian was with the nanny, and I still had to make a living. I still loved the camera and had just been cast for a new movie. Sean was coming over to celebrate with me. Just the two of us. I was in the bathroom when he came in. We were supposed to go out for dinner, but he was in a foul mood. Sean yelled, "What the fuck?" I would have to walk on eggshells as I came out the back room, but I found him holding flowers. So I smiled. "You brought me flowers?" Sean yelled, "No. So who the fuck are they from?" I was bewildered and told him honestly, "I don't know, probably just a fan." He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up to read it. Sean, he slapped me so hard I hit the ground. Sean yelled, "Who the fuck were you with the other night?" I looked down at the card and that was lying on the ground next to me, and I read it. "The other night was amazing. We must do it again." Shit, I tried to explain. Sean, he threw the flowers at me. "That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it." I yelled back, "It was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing." He glared at me and asked, "Who the fuck is this producer?" I was trying desperately to calm him down as I responded, "From the movie, babe. Calm down." He picked up my coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere as he yelled, "Who the fuck does this nigga think he is?" Sean, he's just some producer. We talked about the role and me maybe starring in another movie that he wants to produce. I swear that's it, Sean. Sean exploded even more. He wants to put the move on my fucking family. At the top of his lungs, my fucking family. He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table, but Sean is stronger than he looks. I pleaded with him, "Sean, please." He yelled at me, "What?" I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know it didn't come up. You're publicly dating someone else." So he screamed at me, and it somehow seemed even more intense. "So you didn't tell him to back off?" Sean, I didn't. And then out of nowhere, he hit me with a chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in a hospital room. My arm was in a cast, hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain, as was my lip. As I came to, the first face I saw was of the man that put me here. Sean asked with concern in his voice, "How are you feeling?" I responded, "Stay away from me." "I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I save it for the lawyers. Stay away from me." We were in a private room and no one would hear me. I could scream like my life depended on it, but it wouldn't matter if I did ring for assistance. I wouldn't get any. He kept going. "I was just so jealous. You know how I am. He took hold of my left arm, the one that was not hanging in a cast. "You have our beautiful son, our family. It's just, at that point, I had enough. The one you slutted out right before giving birth? Are you fucking shitting me? Stay away from me. Don't come near me or my kids." He continued to plead, "I'm sorry, baby. I promise. I'll never put my hands on you again. I swear. I've heard this song one too many times." I spoke through gritted teeth. If you ever come near me or my kids again, I'll call the cops. A flashing of anger returned. You would use my kid to threaten me? But then he caught himself. I understand you're angry. I glared at him as I cut him off. I'm serious, Sean. He spoke blandly with no energy. And tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head? He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe me. They were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. You're a fucking bastard. Sean spent the next 6 months helping me heal and working his way back into my life and into my bed. I was so damn stupid. And of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understood, the producer died of pneumonia. So y'all, the producer died. And she wasn't cast for no other movie by him. The producer, yeah, the producer basically went night-night. Yeah, let's see where I leave off. Ariane says, wow, Kim slept with the best of them. Jesus. Right. Ramona says the best of them has a new definition now. It really does. PM says, wow, Ariane. And poor Cassie, she probably didn't tell had what she went through. Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot. As they say, you never know what somebody's going through. You just see them on the outside. Like I said, I saw her and I just like, oh, she's so beautiful, and just not knowing, that she was going through hell with this person. She had already, based on when they got, not long into their relationship, he started, becoming abusive. So that means, when I saw her, that was what was taking place in their relationship. Ariane says, how old was Kim? Let me see. I don't know when you say how old was she when she passed away. PM says she was young, probably late 20s now. At this point, yeah, because she got with him when she was like in her early 20s. So I think by the time she had Christian, when I did the math, she maybe was around like 26 or late 20s. So yeah, it's like at this point, yeah, we're looking at, before 30. It was before 30 when this was happening. Amanda says, Sheik, no person last word should have been that I heard you read from that book and I missed that start. I come and chat, the butt plug. We spoke on your Diddy chat about a lot of things. Yeah, it's a lot of disturbing stuff. Definitely, if anyone came in late, you definitely should be a part of the replay game because it's a lot. I've gone literally through the entire book. We're nearing the end. We are nearing the end of this book. So we're going to get through it. We are definitely going to get through it. Rolena said the producer died of pneumonia too. Yeah, that's how they've been disappearing, pneumonia. Yep. Ariane says, I wonder how many of his HIV now? Questions. Blessed Up says, my God, but honestly, I feel if a person chooses to stay after knowing the facts on someone that they're no longer a victim, God always gives us a way to escape. I'm speaking from experience. Sad story. Yeah, I mean, it came a time where, Kim definitely became complicit to it, and it was heavily rooted in the money, the fame, because he would throw that, don't you want this? Don't you want that? And it's like, well, yeah, and she came from Savannah, y'all, that's the country. And she said, y'all, she always wanted to be famous. That's why she left when she graduated high school. Amanda said, thanks you once again for a moderator position on here as well as the other channel. My appreciation, much appreciated and deserve. If I don't say so myself, loyalty, honesty, and respect as always, Sheik. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Amanda. You always come through for me. So thank you for moderating this chat as well. So child, we got one more chapter to get through. Chapter 18, Sweet Goodbyes. So listen up. Sweet Goodbyes. This is chapter 18, Sweet Goodbyes. Sean kept his word for the most part until he didn't. I ended up pregnant again. He wanted energy from that too. That would be my last sex party. My body will never be ravaged by so many people again, especially while I'm pregnant. What if something happened to the twins? After that, I wanted out. But when I tried dating someone else, they would end up dead from pneumonia. I knew Sean was behind it. This was not a coincidence. He gets jealous. He gets jealous of a guy and they die of pneumonia. I could be next. If I am going to get out of this alive, I'm going to have to do something to make him stay away from me. I had a plan, but it's dangerous. Sean has a vault where he keeps videotapes of all his conquests. I started sleeping with him again. After he falls asleep, he was starting to drink heavily. I would get into the vault and get a couple of the tapes, take them home, make copies, and swap them for the next set of tapes a few days later. It took weeks to get them all copied, and he never knew that I had them. This was my way out. Some of the tapes had things I would never have expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys like Usher, Little Bow Wow, and Justin Bieber, I would have never known. My God, is he grooming Quincy? This has to end. I invited him over one day to comfort him and to put an end to our on-again, off-again relationship. He had entered my home unannounced for the last time. He would no longer have the key after today. I was in the kitchen. Kimora and I were sharing drinks. I was scared to face him alone. Sean entered smiling. What's up, Kimmy? Hey, Mora. I told Sean, sit down. Because of my tone, he looked at me stunned and asked, what's going on? What is this? I responded with delight. Me taking my life back. We're done. He answered, hold on, wait a minute. I was so excited that I wasn't hearing any. I was so excited that I wasn't hearing any of it. I shouted at him, no more. This is fucking over. He looked confused as he asked, where is all this coming from? With disgust, I said, I got the footage, Sean. He looked even more confused as he inquired, what are you talking about? Kimora said with revulsion, Usher too? Sean said, wait, what the fuck is going on? Sean stood aggressively and Kimora responded, don't make me call the cops. Sean's anger was creeping in as he replied, this is how it is. I simply nodded. If anything happens to me, either one of us, it gets released. He seethed as he queried, after all I've done for you, I don't think I was ever so happy as when I said those words to him. Get out. Pissed, he started to leave. He looked back with pure hatred. As he walked down the stairs, he turned around in fury and lunged at me. He knocked me down near the top of the stairs. I was hurt. Kimora screamed, stop. As he began to crouch over me, I kicked him, hitting him in the kneecap and then his face. He went tumbling downstairs. He was too hurt to get up. I called the cops. Kimora left before they arrived. When he left, it was in an ambulance. I felt empowered. I felt safe. The Sean Combs days had finally come to an end. I was actually wrong. That wasn't the last chapter. Chapters are kind of short. So actually there is another chapter 19 called the finale. So there is one more chapter. Let's see. Y'all, when my lights looking up, y'all hit the like button. Elaine says, oh, wow, I missed the part about always wanting to be famous. Yep. That's how the book started. She's like, she always wanted to be famous. So she left country Savannah to just head to New York. Yeah, to be famous. Yeah, she wanted fame. She got it. Well, they say, be careful what you ask for. She got fame. PM, what young boys? No wonder he wanted her dead. Wow. Yeah. Orlando says the PM, yes, that's one of the biggest charges, underage boys. PM says, I was praying it didn't happen to the young boys. Yeah. Ariane says she should have left, not say anything, right? Like broadcasting, announcing. I don't know what made her think that was even safe for her to do. But yeah, it just kind of, so chapter 19, the finale. So this is the finale. This is actually the final chapter of the book, Kim's Lost Words. Things were okay for a while. I started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died of pneumonia. I knew it was Sean. Again, that's when I decided to write this book. A few days ago, my home was burglarized. Only laptops were stolen. I know it was that bastard or his goons. Of course, I had a copy in the cloud, and I was able to easily download here onto this new computer. As I continue to write now, I'll send this into the cloud as well. I will send out copies via email, and my Google Drive password will be attached so the missing chapters can be accessed. This book must get out. There are so many more chapters to add. This outline is a great start. I have to organize the rest of the rest of the chapters and add them in little by little. I planned on spending today working on exactly that, but I'm not feeling very well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend, so I can rest. I called Kimura to cancel our tentative plans for a meetup. When I spoke to her, she said, "Girl, that doesn't sound like the flu. You want to go to the hospital?" That didn't immediately alarm me. I just need some rest, I told her, and quickly got off the phone. But why can't I get my doctor? But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom where I was lying in my bed. All I can think about was the kids, my babies who are with this monster, the man that I now suspect of having done this to me. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that let me know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. "Hello?" I screamed at him. "You bastard. I have your fucking children. What are you talking about?" "The kids are with me," he replied with a mocking innocence. "There's literally nothing I can do." I could only ask, "Did you ever love me?" Instead of answering the question, he responded, "The most important thing to me in the world is loyalty." I couldn't believe it. I had to ask even though I understood. What the fuck does that mean? With the same foreign innocent, he mocked, "Kim, is something wrong?" He's going to continue this game to the bitter end. I asked one last time, "How could you?" Again, with the narcissism I had now come to despise, he responded, "How could I? Do what? I gave you everything. You went to someone else. You left me just like everyone else did." You asked, "How could I?" How could I what? I yelled, "Look what you did to everyone around you." There was only anger in his response. "So you're saying everyone leaves because of how I am and you were going to expose me?" He had me burglarized. I knew it. I shouldn't have threatened him. I should have just published the book. I'm going to die like Heavy D, like Biggie, like Pac, like many others, and it's because he is a monster, plain and simple. Before hanging up, I simply say, "That's not the only copy, you fuck." And then I shoot out a group text. I let everyone know he got me. Then I call 911. As I sit here waiting for the ambulance, I am writing this chapter and praying that I make it to the hospital. I don't feel like writing anymore. I may not be around to see it in print. It's okay. I'm sending it out. He won't get away with this. I will have my say, my final words. Sean Combs will get exposed, even if I lose my life doing it. My kids have always been my most cherished possessions. I want the world to know that. But more importantly, I want them to know. And then it was ... That was it. Kim's lost words. And Kim's lost words. And like back 2 hours, took about 2 hours to get through that book. It's a lot. It's a lot. PM says, yes, the one, the biggest charge. I didn't even hear any of the charges going against him pertaining to like minors and things. That's something I didn't hear. I don't know if that's some new charges got added, but when they did that press conference, they didn't mention anything about like charges that I took notice of pertaining to like, underage boys or girls, anybody. So I didn't hear that. PM says, I was praying it didn't happen to the boys. Let me see. Blessed Up says she should have said nothing. She simply should have left and let him find out what she had on him after leaving. She obviously knew how he was. So much of her abuse could have been avoided. PM says, wow, the kids will see this. Yep, those children. That's what I was thinking as I was, reading that last chapter. Is like, her kids, will they read this book? Will they, try to, sneak and read it, order it? Listen, I ordered it on Amazon, like just to see what was said. Berlana says her kids will be told this book isn't true. Yep, exactly. PM says it's probably kept secret because Usher, etc., didn't want it exposed. From what I hear, Christian, her oldest son, kind of believes that Diddy is behind the death of his mother, but he's still kind of trying to allegedly, he's just trying to be a support for his brothers, and during these times, or for his siblings. But remember, that wasn't his biological father; that was like a stepfather to him. But I do wonder if, like, the girls, in the back of their mind, do they feel, do they wonder if their father could have been behind their mother's death? From what I hear, Christian, his son, is like a ride or die. So listen, his daddy can't do no wrong in his eyes. I think what I've heard is that anytime there's visitation, Christian is there front and center, seeing his father. So he's been a great support to his dad right now. He is the oldest of him and Kim's 3 children together, but he's the second oldest to Kim's 4 children. But yeah, it's a lot. So, it just comes down to what can be proven. So even hopefully, as part of this investigation that is taking place with all these allegations that's coming at him, hopefully, as it pertains to Kim's death, from what I hear, it's being investigated. So we'll see what come out of it. I hope that if he is truly behind her death, that it does come out. Even if, say, charges pertaining to her death, along with all the other stuff, can still just have him never seeing the day of light. I don't care. I just would like for him to just get charged for her death if he's behind it, because I don't feel like this man will ever see freedom again. And I just don't feel like he ever will. And I think he deserves to be behind bars. PM says, I'm sure the girl saw something. Yeah, because I think, when she passed away, they were 12, 13, 14, 15, like 12, because I think they're about to be 18. So yeah, I would say that they seen some things. When he came through, they seen him kind of probably roughhousing their mom, grabbing her up by her arm, on her neck. Yes, I definitely believe all of them seen things. But him being a true narcissist, he found ways to justify his behaviors, his antics, to justify it by, oh, well, she did this, she did. You guys think she's in, you didn't see this, but I just hope that, with the children, that eventually the blinders will come off, the veil will be lifted, and they'll accept the reality that their mother was an abused woman and she was in an abusive relationship for far too long. And really, the abuse started long before any of her children were created. And, the truth of the matter is, had she left long before then, Diddy wouldn't have the 3 children that he does have with her. So it's kind of like, just how you look at it. But maybe she could have gone on to just, have children with a man who really genuinely loved her and treated her like someone. Because she said the last relationship, the last guy she dated, she really liked. Child, he just, died of pneumonia, like many other people in her life had. Did they rule her death as pneumonia as well? What was the cause of her death? What did they say was the cause of her death? Did they say it was also pneumonia? Brolena says, wasn't Christian partaking in some of the suggestion abuse? Yeah, there's some charges. Let me see. There are some charges that I heard yesterday where there's a woman accusing him of SA. Let me see if I can find the article. But I learned that yesterday. That he was being charged. Let me see. SA allegations. Hold on. But yeah, he was getting charged. I learned yesterday that there was some allegations or something that popped off from on a yacht in California. Let me see. All right. So let's see if we can find an article that talks about this. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to jump over to this article that's going to get into the charges on the son. So make sure you all can see my screen. Okay, let me take this comment off. So this is from CNN, dated April 6, 2024. Sean Diddy Combs on Christian Combs accused of SA in lawsuit. An article goes on to say Christian Combs, son of rapper, producer, and businessman Sean Diddy Combs, is accused of SA in a new lawsuit that names both men. The 31-page lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court on Thursday, according to an attorney for an plaintiff, Grace O. Markoff. Markoff worked as a crew member and a bartender on a yacht leased by Sean Combs and his family in December 2022, according to the lawsuit. The experience was sold as an wholesome family excursion, but turned into a hedonistic environment. The lawsuit says and suspected sex workers and other celebrities were often brought aboard. In the early morning on December 28th, Christian Combs pressured Markoff to drink a shot of tequila, and shortly thereafter he assaulted her, the lawyer says. Markoff believes the tequila, which she says Christian Combs brought aboard, may have been laced with drugs. According to the lawsuit, Combs was not accused of SA in the lawsuit, but is included on allegations of liability and aiding and abetting. Aaron Dyer, an attorney for Sean and Christian Combs, said in a statement to CNN that they believe the lawsuit contains manufactured lies and irrelevant facts, and says he will seek to dismiss the outrageous claim. The lawsuit is the latest in a series filed against Sean Combs and follows searches by the federal investigators at his homes in Los Angeles and Miami area last week. The previous lawsuit accused him of a range of sexual misconduct and other illegal activities. The recording industry mogul had denied all of the allegations. Lawsuits cites audio recording. The lawsuit cites an audio recording from a makeshift recording studio on the yacht, which Markoff said is where the alleged assault began. According to a partial transcript included in the lawsuit, Markoff was being pressured to take a shot and asked Christian Combs, "Are you drugging me?" And Combs answered, "Take the shot." CNN has listened to the audio recording and independently verified the transcript detailed in the lawsuit. In addition to the tense conversation purportedly between Combs and Markoff, Cassie in 2006 pop hit Me and You, which features Sean Diddy Combs, can be heard playing in the background. Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, is Diddy's former girlfriend, who alleges she was AR'd and subjected to years of repeated physical and other abuse by the music mogul in November 2023. Ventura and Diddy reached a settlement one day after the singer filed her complaint, which was the first lawsuit in a series of sexual abuse allegations against Diddy. though an attorney for the rapper denied Ventura's allegations and said the settlement was in no way an admission of wrongdoing. On the yacht, Christian Combs cornered Omarkov in a room and became physical and extremely aggressive, the lawsuit states. Combs grabbed Omarkov by the arm and attempted to force himself on her. The filing continues and stopped only when another yacht employee entered the room. Photos included in the court filing appear to show bruises on the plaintiff's forearm. Following the alleged assault, Omarkov's mental and physical health deteriorated, according to the lawsuit. She began suffering from anxiety and panic attacks, amongst other issues, the lawsuit says. The lawsuit is seeking unspecified damages. So, do we have here another generation of predators? Wow. Wow. Sounds like he is his father's child. Allegedly. Bless Up said it will come out. I believe you true. Amen. Yes, it would all come out. Ariane says only if she would have stayed with Al. Yeah. Rainy said, I believe he actually grooming the children for the lifestyle. Sure, I agree. Rolena says, Rainy, don't ruin my in my thoughts too. Blessed Up minds also. Yes, the rules. Yes, they rules as a pneumonia. So that's his thing. So whatever he's putting in their their drinks, their food, whatever, I guess it's some type of chemical that almost has your body, I guess, almost look like you're dying from just like a natural causes. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. Ariane says, so is any of his boyfriends going to speak up for Diddy at this point? Only person I've heard speak up was Lil Bootsy. He spoke up, like defending him, basically saying, hey, these were willing participants. I don't know what the problem is, all kind of craziness. And from my understanding, a lot of people kind of went in on him. Yes, it is very sad. It's very sad. He's definitely his father's twin. Bless Up says, I honestly hope everything he put those victims through, he receives that and more in prison. That would be like a best case scenario, but I have the same wish. But yeah, like a lot of these people who've been at these parties, they haven't been coming up, y'all, to his defense. It's been crickets. So I think they are holding their breath in hopes that he doesn't, mention their name, or in hopes that the tapes that he has with them on it, that the police does not have them in their possessions. My thing is, these people who were coming to his parties, were they aware that they were being recorded? Because I don't understand how these people would be good with having themselves recorded on camera doing such craziness, questionable things to me. So it has me to wonder if maybe these people didn't know that they were being filmed. Where were these cameras? Maybe some of them did know, but to me, it's crazy with as many celebrities who are alleged to be a part of this, who have participated in this, for them to have been good with being on camera. Like, that's the crazy part to me. Like, why would y'all, first of all, you're there. So that's just a whole nother conversation. But then you're there and you're allowing for your indiscretions to be placed on camera. There's the evidence. And then you're just going to trust that he's going to keep these tapes tight, close to his heart, and then no one ever sees them. Like, what the hell? Like, it's crazy. That's, we talk about crazy work. That's definitely crazy work. So I really, really, really look forward to hearing, the names that come out as far as participants in all of this madness. PN says, yeah, I don't get that either. But then everyone was drugs. As far as these other celebrities, like, were they drugged, or did they know, okay, this is, because it seemed like it was an ongoing thing. You knew how his parties were. So I think you have some people who were drugged, but you have a good amount who like knew what it was about. And like, this is what we do. We go here, we partake in drugs, and we get it in. Rainey says they did not have a choice whether or not to be recorded. I'm more so talking about the celebrities, not the, those like the workers, like the innocent. I'm talking about like the celebrities. Do you all feel like the celebrities that were going, they were being taken advantage of and being drugs? I mean, I feel like he was known in the industry to be doing these parties, so people were signing up to show up to his parties. Rainey says Will Smith and Jada didn't care either way. PM says allegedly they say all the drinks was spiked. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. When I say every day, something crazier than the day before is coming out. Bless up said, I don't believe they cared, not knowing he would use it someday, blackmail them for a time. Like this is here. I bet you they care now. Like they wish they hadn't allowed it then or even been there. But they say hindsight is 2020. Rainey said the celebrities didn't have a choice. So when you say they didn't have a choice, that you think because maybe when they were coming to the house and they were partaking in drinks, and then things, drugs and things were getting into their system unknowingly to them. Because remember, it was like it seemed like everybody in the industry knew he was putting on these parties. So my thing is, for these parties to have still continued to go on and people still showing up to them, word was getting around with, okay, what pops off at these parties? So the fact that he still had people coming, I think that there were probably some celebrities who were with the shits. They were like, okay, listen, it is what it is. I'm fine with consuming drugs. Let's have a good time. All is forgotten the next day. It is what it is. I think you have some that maybe, were taken advantage of, didn't know. But I think you had some repeats to where they were coming back maybe the first time. They didn't know something was in their drinking system, but they were like, oh, well, he found a way to rationalize it, and they showed back for the, another event. Bless Up says, I wonder if Bill Cosby was there too, child. Not Bill. I don't know. Because remember, there was some names she didn't say. PM says, allegedly some of they attended said they didn't drink at Diddy party. Yeah, I was listening to Janarda. So the Rose from Queen of Kings, her mom was doing a live over the weekend. I think it was on Sunday. She was driving into work. She lives in Los Angeles. And someone in her chat asked her about Diddy, her thoughts on the situation. And, because she lives in LA, so they want to know what her thoughts were on the situation. And she talked about she met him before. And she said she met him at a day party. It wasn't, I guess it was a party taking place during the day. She called it a day party. She was a guest of someone who was invited to a party. And Diddy was also a guest at that party. And they so happened were seated next to one another, I guess, at, the table. I guess you have, seating, and she was seated next to him. She said this was, I think she said like 2018. And she said he was very, gentleman-like. He, asked her if she was enjoying herself. How was she? And she said he was smoking a blunt or something. And he asked her if she wanted to hit it. And she was like, no, I'm good. But the person to the other side of her wanted it. So she took it from Diddy and handed it to the other person. And, so they just had small talk. She said Cassie was there. She's like, she was seated kind of behind him. At one point, Cassie got up and left. And he, ended up leaving, behind her. But she was like, that was it. It was just like, she said it wasn't a freak off event. It was someone else's event that they both so happened to be mutual guests there. But she said her friend in advance had hipped her to, okay, when we go to this party, don't drink this, don't eat that. Like, because her friend knew that she wasn't about that life with the drugs and alcohol. She didn't do drugs and didn't really drink. So she was like, her friend, had told her the do's and the don'ts, when you're going to these, industry parties and things. Because it was, an industry event or whatever. But she was a guest of someone and he was a guest. But she said, there was nothing alarming about him or anything like that. But, she had her experience with interacting with him. And so, but, people don't always see all sides of people. Just as I talked about in this live, me seeing Kim Porter. I did not interact with her, but we both were in the same clothing store, browsing, looking at the same racks, picking up some of the same items. But she was moving like just a regular person that you just see, that you just cross paths with. So I can believe that, there are people who encounter with Diddy wasn't always on a suspect type level where they were like, oh, he was very cordial, gentleman-like, because, wolf in sheep clothing, as Kim called him. And everyone doesn't always show you who they really are, especially in passing. So Janarda seen him in passing. So she just caught him, just some few minutes. But it wasn't his event. It was someone else's event. So of course he maybe was on his best behavior because it wasn't a Diddy party. He was a guest at an event just as she was. Let me see where I leave off in these comments. Let's say we did. I wonder Bill Cosby. Let me see. We said allegedly some that attended the party didn't drink at his party. Ariane says Diddy gonna F up and a lot of people's families. Yeah. Berlana says, well, Kim did say he could cry on cue like he did in front of Biggie's mother, and it was all an act. Yep. So it's just unfortunate she didn't get out earlier, and then it's unfortunate that she announced her exit. I don't think it's safe to announce your exit. I think it's best to just get up and leave. But, she announced her exit, and she thought she was good. And as he told her, he wouldn't knock her off. He wouldn't knock her off in a way that would be obvious to link it back to him. That's why he said it'd be really subtle. It would be very subtle. And Diddy, Diddy's a Scorpio like myself. And one thing I was telling someone about Scorpios is Scorpios can be very strategic about, how they move, very analytical. We go deep in thought. We don't kind of do things kind of in a knee-jerk way. More often than not, it's very calculated. We're deep in thought about a lot of things. And it can just go either way, where you're somebody such as myself, who's a Scorpio, who moves in a way to where I live my life on the up and up. But there's a flip side of that where someone like him who can take all of those, things that I've said as far as the characteristics about us and just use it against people and be a master manipulator and just do harm onto people and try to be under the radar. So it's just, how you use that energy. But given that I am a Scorpio too, and when I see kind of how he was moving with her, I understand it from that perspective of just him being on that sneak tip when he talked about, well, when I do it, I'm not going to do it in a way that's going to make it obvious. So I understand that because I understand just from just the Scorpio nature is to be very kind of strategic. We plan things. So we plan things. So me understanding that as far as a personality characteristic, I can see what she was saying. And it's just that he used all of that in a negative way where, I don't use that in a negative way, but I can see how it can be used in a negative way. And this is what we got. It's very sad, very, 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 very unfortunate. Brolana says, well, Kim did say, yeah, so read that one. But yeah, that's it. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I know we covered a lot. This live turned into just a few things. I'm going to have to retitle it because, child, we got into the new lawsuit that he's been hit with. Plus, child, we went through Kim's, the entire book, Kim's Lost Words. So we definitely covered a lot. This was a great, great, great live. I thank each and every one of you. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm going to continue to follow this story. There's some other content I have on this channel too with some craziness that's going on. So check out some of my other videos on this channel. This is my second backup channel that I'm working very hard to build. So definitely like, share, and subscribe so you know when I go live. This is a reaction channel. So anything viral moments, anything in the news, whether it's Hollywood celebrities, politicians, content creators, we cover it over here. My main channel is Chic Speaks. That's my fitness. I do heavy fitness workout videos over there, as well as I review the popular YouTube channel Queen of Kings content over there. So that's where I do all of that over there. So now I have a second channel, and I just want to just kind of switch the energy up between the two channels. Because child, if when you know, my bigger channel is over 2,000 subscribers. It's a lot that goes on over there. So to me, this channel is kind of like, yeah, it's a different kind of energy. So it's one that is just, where we can kind of really get into some other things outside of just that reviewing the Queen of Kings content that can that can get pretty intense at times. So just for the sake of my own mental health, and just being balanced, as I like to, to preach, living a balanced life. This is a channel where we get into just all things, just what's going on in the world, viral moments. So definitely feel free to come back if you learn of any new information that comes out pertaining this case or any of the content I put out. Drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. Definitely share the content, like, share, and subscribe. But I will be back to you with more content to come. I'm following this story. It's a lot, child. Again, it's the gift to keep on giving, child. It's a lot. It's a lot. And quite frankly, it's getting worse and worse. When you think it can't get any worse, child, it can. It can. And in true Diddy form. But I will tell you right now, what I look forward to hearing is the names that are released, that are attached to his indictment. People who are looked at as being culprits, who aided and played a part in any of the things that the investigators have unfolded. Like, I'm ready to hear the names. I'm ready to hear the names. I'm ready to see the people who are going to be canceled. Like, I'm ready for all of that. And I hope that it don't take a gabillion years to get those names like it took to get him behind bars, because to me, it just took far too long. But we are here. He is behind bars. But just think about since we've been waiting for him to get taken off the street, what else has popped off in his world? Because when they said on that press conference, they were like, up until he was arrested, he was still doing the absolute most. He was still wreaking havoc on these streets. So again, time is of the essence. And the longer these people stay out here on the streets, it gives opportunities for people to become victims. They're victims. And so it's like, if you're in a bad, toxic situation, get out, try to, engage, get some help, but get out. There's a bunch of reasons you may have to say why you need to stay in it. But for the sake of your life, you probably should get out. My thing is, it's probably makes more sense to try to get out and, your life is on the line versus staying in it and your life is on the line. I feel like even at least when you try to get out, you at least got a chance for brighter, better days versus, what staying in looks like. It's just hell. So it's almost like when you say, what do you have to lose if your life is on the line, regardless of what you do? You might as well go ahead and say, bet shit, let me take my chances and try to break free, because my days are numbered anyway while I'm here. So I might as well go ahead and take a chance with trying to break free. I've never been in any type of situation like this, but for me, and as I say, I'm a deep analytical thinker. This is how my mind, what makes sense for me, how my mind works. So I like to always end by saying, each one, take care of yourselves and one another. Go out into this world and be the light in which you want to be shined onto you, meaning that like attracts like. So go out, be positive, sow positive seeds. When you do that, give off positive energy, you will get that in return. Like attracts like. Take care of one another, and most importantly, take care of yourselves, because you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of someone else, even your children. And a lot of times women or people who are in an abusive situation, they're saying, oh, I want to take care of my child, whatever. But at the same time, they're missing the part about taking care of themselves, because they got to be good first before their child can be good. And that often gets overlooked. It gets overlooked far too often. Bolena says, I love your outro. It's very hopeful. Thank you. I thank each and every one of you for joining me here tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe night. Be safe. Take care of yourselves and one another. And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.